Good afternoon, courtroom two. Just let me know when you're ready to begin.
We're ready, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. If you do not have a private attorney, we're providing you with the assistance of a public defender or conflict defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Who do we have first?
First is position 17, Mrs. Jones.
Good afternoon, Ms. Jones. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004411E with a fray. Is there a history? Good afternoon, Ms. Harvey.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. 3 cycles. The last arrest was in 2014 for simple battery. There was a 2007 terroristic threats. That charge was reduced to a non-fingerprintable offense, fighting words, and nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. The bond on this case is currently set to $2,000. We are asking for that bond to be reduced to $1,000. This incident happened between the defendant and Miss Vernia Johnson at 106 Dogwood Court Northwest in Atlanta. The defendant threw punches at Miss Johnson and also brandished a bat towards her, which caused Miss Johnson to be concerned for her safety. The officers did observe, and I think a physical altercation did result as a result of this incident, where Miss Johnson's fingernail was missing as a result of the fight between the two. We are asking for a $1,000 surety bond, no further contact with Vernia Johnson, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, 2-day anger awareness. I will state that Miss Vernia Johnson was also arrested as a result of this case due to the mutual combat between the two of them and has already bonded out. That's all for the state. We would like to sound for Vernia Johnson in case she was able to make it to the Zoom.
Ms. Johnson is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Good afternoon, Mr. Davis.
Good afternoon, Judge. Miss Jones is 40 years old. Your Honor, I have good contact information. She's a lifelong resident of the Atlanta area. She's supported by her daughter in the area, and she does have a job lined up that she was supposed to start downtown, so she's anxious to get back. It's at the, I think, Doubletree Hotel in downtown Atlanta. She's hoping that job is waiting for her. Just to add on, Your Honor, as stated, the alleged victim in this case was also arrested, Miss Johnson. Per the warrant, and speaking with Miss Jones, Miss Johnson was arrested for grabbing Miss Jones's wig and brandishing a knife against my client. There was a witness present for that per the warrant in Miss Johnson's. We refute the factual basis, Judge. We just asked for a signature bond at this time so that we can get started on the next steps.
It will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Johnson. Stay away from her residential address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Your Honor, the state didn't ask for a stay away because I believe they both live at that location. They were actually, the fight started, according to the police report, in the laundry room of that location over some clothes that had been taken out of the washing machine.
Okay.
So I can't, unfortunately, because they both live there, I don't think a stay away would be appropriate for either one. Maybe just a no further contact.
Okay, that's fine. Good luck to you, Ms. Jones. Courtroom 2, do we have Adam Kaufman there?
He's going to be on the way up here. I had him He waved earlier. Well, actually, he's right here. Never mind.
Okay, so I know that Mr. Spiesman's on the line for him, so if we can get him
we can go to him next.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
That's position 18.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Kaufman. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004388C with simple battery family violence and battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
2 cycles, Your Honor. Last arrest was in 2011 out of Fulton County for a DUI. That was a conviction, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Afternoon, Mr. Siraka.
Good afternoon, Judge. So this incident is from August 2nd. The defendant had pushed his mother, the victim here, Miss Susan Silverboard, with both of his hands, and she fell back as a result of that, and her head hit the floor. We have an update from her that she actually had to have 8 stitches put in her head because of this incident. She confirmed the events in the warrant. They do live together there. And she states this was an isolated incident. The defendant apologized and took her to the hospital. And when she told the staff there what happened, it was the staff that reached out to police because they saw it fit absolutely to intervene as their duty. And ultimately, she states she's not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact, wants him to return to the residence as well. As you saw, she is on the line. We would ask the court sound for her when appropriate. But in total here for the battery family violence, the state is seeking a $3,000 surety bond. On the battery family violence, a $3,000 surety bond, and on the simple battery family violence, a $1,000 surety bond for a total of $4,000 surety bond. Given the severity of the violence that took place here and the injuries. FFIP, no further contact. For the time being, this is fresh with Miss Silverboard. We would ask for a stay away as well, and that is from 251 the South Chase, Atlanta in Fulton. And no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And we do sound for Miss Silverboard.
Ms. Silverboard, if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court? Unfortunately, we can't hear you, Ms. Silverboard.
It's not
Judge,
connected to her auto. Her auto's not connected, Judge. She needs to connect.
Judge, if you like, I can address the court while Ms. Silverboard works on her audio, if that'd be appropriate.
Yes, that's fine, Mr. Spiderman. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. First and foremost, you've heard that my client has absolutely no felony convictions, no prior acts of violence, outside of a DUI, absolutely no criminal history, never missed court, never had any issues with failures to appear. As it relates to Ms. Silverboard, and I'm sure she'd tell you this too, and I'm confident that she told this to the state. First and foremost, this is an isolated incident. Secondly, Mr. Kaufman resides at home with his mother. There are some underlying issues regarding MH. And so with that being said, he's lived there full time. He helps her, he supports her, he cares for her. He's very regretful that this occurred. Our biggest concern, Your Honor, is the no further contact provision. Specifically, she retained my office. She wanted to appear at this bond hearing to speak to the fact that she wants contact. She wants him to come home. That is his full-time residence, and ordering a no further contact order would completely displace him, putting his mother and the rest of his family in a place where they would have to find suitable housing for him when he has some specific needs that his mother helps address. So I don't really have any opposition regarding the amount, the family violence intervention course. I think those are normal, but when a victim is showing up and there's no criminal history, I think it's appropriate to allow him to return home. And Ms. Silverboard can absolutely verify that when her audio comes forward.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Silverboard, are you with us? Okay, I understand. We can't hear you, unfortunately. So I take it, Mr. Spiesman, that you have spoken with her and that you've given her wishes to the court. Is that correct?
That's correct. She retained my services. I spoke to her yesterday. I spoke to her today, and I verified she absolutely would like him to come home and would like contact with him, and that she shared that with the state as well.
Okay. If nothing further for the simple battery, it will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the battery, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Since everyone has agreed on FVIP, I'll order that. No further violent contact with Ms. Silverboard and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Okay, anything further for Mr. Kaufman this afternoon?
Nothing, Judge. We appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. If nothing further, you're free to go, Mr. Sposman. Ms. Silverboard, good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Silverboard, I'll call you and let you know what's going on. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
All righty.
Who do we have next?
Take this position 2, Mr. Bledsoe.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bledsoe. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004381B with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers and loitering and prowling. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
No, Your Honor. First arrest.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
It's fine, Your Honor. The defendant officers were dispatched to 3000 Continental Parkway on August 2nd in reference to 4 to 5 juveniles breaking into vehicles in the area. The defendant was one of the individuals that they came across and arrested, fleeing from the location. This was at approximately 3:45 in the morning. None of them, to my understanding, were residents of that location. And there was video showing the individuals going into different vehicles and opening car doors. The state recommendation is, and some of the individuals, at least 2 of the individuals, according to the police report, were wearing masks, and all of them were wearing dark colored clothing and blue jeans. The state's recommendation on this case, Your Honor, is going to be SOB through pretrial services, level 2, no further contact with DeMarco Williams and Jarden Clark, Jairden Clark. Those are the 2 co-defendants he was arrested with. Stay away from the retreat at Greenbrier at 3000 Continental Colony Parkway in Atlanta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And as he just turned 20 years of age, we are asking for a curfew of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. This happened, as I've stated, at 3:45 in the morning. And as my mother used to joke, nothing good happens after 2 a.m. So there's no need for him to be out and about. That's all for the state.
Afternoon, Ms. McLeod.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We are okay with a bond through pretrial, but given the fact that this is my client's first arrest, I would ask that the reporting be at level 1. The warrant specifically states that the 2 other people that my client was arrested with, that they were huffing and puffing and they sounded like they were running. It doesn't say that about my client. We do not know exactly why my client was even there, but there was a clear difference between what the allegations are in the warrant concerning the other 2 co-defendants and my client specifically. They just said he happened to be there when they stopped the people, but I don't believe he was specifically identified, Your Honor. And I did note where they said the others sounded like they had been running, but the fact that he was not mentioned as sounding that way would suggest to me that he didn't sound that way. Nevertheless, we are okay with the demand for pre-trial, but I would ask that it just be at a level 1, Your Honor, given that this is his first arrest.
And Your Honor,
Go ahead.
apologies, Your Honor. I was just going to say a witness was present and did identify all 3 individuals, including Mr. Bledsoe, as the ones involved in the break-ins of the vehicle at the location. And that's according to the police report.
Does your client have a job? Is he in school, Ms. McLeod?
He tells me that he is job hunting. He normally does warehouse work, Your Honor. He is actively looking for a job right now, he tells me, because he has 2 children as well.
All right, nothing further for each charge will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Mr. Williams or Mr. Clark. Stay away from the retreat at Greenbrier. I want him to continue to actively look for a job. A curfew of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. You're
Thank you, Your
welcome.
Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Bledsoe.
Next is position 19, Mr. Langford.
And Judge, this was a dual arrest here. The other case is Zariah Williams Moore, I believe, should be right near one. I don't know if I have the.
Position 32.
That's the one. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Is anybody there with me at ACDC? It looks like Officer Milton. Officer Milton? Good
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Do you have Miss Williams Moore there?
Yes.
Okay, may we thank you. Let me address Mr. Langford first. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004389E with battery family violence and simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
First arrest, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Williams Moore, good afternoon. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004390G with battery family violence and simple battery family violence. Does she have a history?
Yes, Your Honor. She has 2 cycles. She is currently being supervised by pretrial under case number 25 PI 005903. That's for theft by shoplifting. We will be doing a bond hearing today. Also, there is an open case for simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass under case number 24 CR 007025G. And nothing further.
Thank you.
And let's briefly judge that case. The 24 CR, that is, so it's simple battery family violence and criminal trespass family violence. That is against the same individual here, Mr. Kyrie Langford. And she was originally given a $2,000 surety bond on that case and was, as part of her bond, have no further violent contact with Kyrie Langford, which she is in violation of here. That case is currently in diversion status. It was in April, I believe, she'd agreed to do, and we'd accepted her to do. It was like 8 weeks anger management and community service. But with respect to this incident, this was about a custody exchange. This started, they share a child together, and essentially the two were striking each other. They have conflicting stories over what it was about. Mr. Langford's being defense of the child that she was striking, and hers being that there was an argument over his girlfriend that got out of hand. There were on Miss Williams Moore's person, they observed bruising and swelling in the face. On him, they observed black eye and scratch marks. Not enough to determine a primary aggressor at this point, but she does have that open case against the same victim. For Mr. Langford's bond, the state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial for him to complete FIB, have no further contact with Miss Williams Moore, and have no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. That is, and then with respect to her case, we're recommending a $3,000 total surety, 2,000 surety on the battery family violence, and 1,000 on the simple battery family violence. For her to complete FFIP, have no further contact with Kyrie Langford, stay away from the incident location. I'm not sure who's actually. We'll see from the defense what that location is exactly, and we'll leave it to the court with respect to a stay away. Though the state would lean more towards Miss Williams more, given the history. And no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. That'll be all.
Thank you. Who's representing Mr. Langford?
I am representing Mr. Langford, Your Honor.
Okay, you can proceed, Ms. McLeod. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask for a signature bond for my client, no FVIP, because I do not think it's necessary based on the allegations of the warrant. My client specifically told the police officers he was just trying to protect his child. That is what the warrant says. And that, he was definitely not the primary aggressor in any of this. His whole intent was just to protect his child. My client's never been arrested, Your Honor. This, incidentally, is not his home. I believe it is the grandfather's home. That is my understanding. But my client has a completely different address. And I do believe the mother of the child also may have a different address. That's my understanding. But in any case, my client does not live at the address where this happened. I believe it was the grandfather who initially called the police. That is my understanding.
Ms. McLeod, is that location, is that what they always use for custody exchange? Do you know that?
I gather that that is the case. Yes, but my client doesn't live there. But, I would like for them to have no further violent contact if it's possible, because, this is my client's only child. And of course, he wants to be able to have disrupted parenting time with his child. That's a primary concern of his. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, I don't think it's prudent for them to be around each other at the present time, so I am going to order no further contact at this point for both of them. For Mr. Langford, for the battery, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the simple battery, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Williams Moore. Stay away from her residential address. Third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Langford. You're welcome, Ms. McLeod. As far as Ms. Williams Moore goes, are you representing her, Mr. McLean?
I do. She has been an administrative assistant, like what we used to call secretary, and she's locally educated at high school. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond here, despite the prior with the same alleged victim, because it was diverted. And when you carefully analyze this, the court can imagine my defense is that we are not the aggressor at all, simply in self-defense. Thank you.
Battery will be a $1,000 good bond. The simple battery, a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $1,500 good bond. No further contact with Mr. Langford. Stay away from his residential address. Third-party transfer of the minor children for visitation. Given that this is the second allegation, family violence intervention program, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Williams Moore. Who needs to go into the breakout room with the interpreter? I see we have courtroom 1 ready. Are we ready to place you into the breakout room, Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your Honor, I have Mr. Macias.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Chancey. Thank you for being here this afternoon.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, if we can place Mr. McLean, courtroom 1, and Ms. Chancey into the breakout room, please. Okay, while we do that, who do we have in courtroom 2?
Position number 1, Mr. Barber.
Good afternoon, Mr. Barber. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004382B with simple battery, family violence, and theft by taking. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. Multi-state offender with 5 out of Georgia, also 9 out of South Carolina, 4 out of Florida, and 9 cycles out of Tennessee. Last arrest was December 4th, 2022 for attempt violation, possession of cocaine, and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. That case was dismissed. Out of South Carolina, a 2009 public disorderly conduct conviction. Out of Florida, 2002 fraud. Out of Tennessee, 2002 DUI, and 2005 driving on revoked license, and nothing further.
Ms. Fall?
Yes, Your Honor. This happened August 2nd at 334 Holcomb's Pond Court in Alpharetta. Miss Jessica Scharfenberg, excuse me, stated that she had placed the defendant's belongings outside. They had been previously living together, and she had placed his items outside for him to pick up. He had taken her iPhone and Apple Watch from her, and she also showed them doorbell footage, the police, of an incident where she had been attacked, and you could see the defendant yelling profanities at her standing outside the door, him pushing his way into the apartment and pushing her from the front door through the living room and into the kitchen, where he then pushes her up against a pantry closet. She did not have any visible injuries. Her phone dropped out of her pocket when this happened, and he took the phone from her. She demanded it back, but he refused to give it back and put it in his pocket while walking away. And the phone was approximately valued at about $1,100. The defendant then returned back to the location with the phone and tried to return it to her, but was causing another disturbance. And at that point, the officers made him step outside, and he was taken into custody. We did have an opportunity to speak with Ms. Scharfenberg. She stated that she and the defendant do not live together. They share no children. She allowed him to stay the night on Friday, and the next day he wanted her to go with him, but she didn't want to go, and this upset him, so she put his belongings out on the porch. She stated he came to the door, pushed through the door, and began pushing her and took her phone, but she did receive her phone back. However, she also stated he took her Apple Watch, and she did not get that back, and that was also covered in the warrant that he had taken that as well. She stated this is not the first time he has been violent toward her, but it is the first time police have been called out. She has filed for a TPO earlier this year, but did not show up to court, so it was dismissed. She stated she wants no violent contact and wants him to stay away from her residence. She did state she will be here on Zoom. We are agreeable due to the age of the previous cases outside of this state. We're agreeable to SOB through pretrial services level 1. No further contact with Jessica Scharfenberg. Stay away from 334 Holcomb's Pond Court in Alpharetta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no firearms. The reason we are kind of departing from Ms. Scharfenberg's wishes of having no further violent contact is because this incident happened on the 2nd at about 7:21 p.m., so it hasn't even been 48 hours yet, and her statement that this is not the first time he has been violent toward her, and the fact that she has previously taken out a TPO. So for all those reasons, we don't believe there should be contact at this time. We would like to sound from Ms. Jessica Scharfenberg. That's all for the state.
Scharfenberg wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. Dodes?
Thank you, Judge. I think we're in agreement with the state on the signature bond through pretrial. Mr. Barber is 57 years old. As we heard, it has no violent history besides any issues with this alleged victim. Your Honor, I have good contact for Mr. Barber. He does have a good address that is separate. That is not the incident location. He's clear to not go back. He's a lifelong resident of Atlanta. He has family support. His children are grown, but he is currently working 2 businesses, Roof Right USA and Atlantic Pressure Washing. He actually had a couple of client meetings today that, of course, he wasn't able to make it, but he is anxious to get out and get back to work. While we do refute some of the facts mentioned, we'll save that for another day. Your Honor, we would just ask for the signature bond through pretrial services. If it is no further contact, Mr. Barber is clear to have no contact with this alleged victim.
For the simple battery, would be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the theft, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Scharfenberg. Stay away from the Holcomb Pond court address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Golder.
Next is position 12, Mr. Harold.
Good afternoon, Mr. Harold. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004399D with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 9 Cycles out of New Jersey. Last arrest was April 4th, 2025, out of New Jersey for simple assault. No disposition was listed for that case, Your Honor. That appears to be open. There is a 2024 conviction for resisting arrest and a 2022 aggravated assault out of New Jersey, and nothing further.
Ms. Falk? You're on mute, Ms. Falk.
Thank you, Your Honor. This happened August 2nd, 2025 at 1245 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest in Atlanta. Officers spoke to Stephen Brown, who stated the defendant, who is his now ex-boyfriend, they were breaking up. They had been living together for approximately 1 month. The defendant grabbed him from behind, took his cell phone and threw it. The officers did not see any injury to Mr. Brown, given that he had just been grabbed. The officers then spoke with the defendant. The defendant admitted that he had gotten into a physical altercation with Mr. Brown. He also admitted to grabbing and taking Mr. Brown's cell phone. At that point, he was placed under arrest. We have spoken to Mr. Brown. He did state that he and the defendant are in a relationship. They live together at that location. He stated they were in an argument. He began to call the police to get the defendant to leave his residence. The defendant heard him on the phone, grabbed the phone out of his hand and threw it. He stated this is not the first time this has happened, but it is the first time police have been involved. He does want to continue contact. However, and we would ask for a $1,000 surety bond, given the defendant's history out of the state, number one, which concerns us for the lack of ties to this community. And number two, he had a previous aggravated assault in New Jersey, which gives the state some concern for a risk of violence. So we are asking for a $1,000 surety bond, no further violent contact with Stephen Brown. However, we are also asking for a stay away from that address, 1245 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest in Atlanta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And given the prior history and the fact that the victim said this is not the first time the defendant has had violent contact with him, we are requesting an FVIP. That's all for the state. We would like to sound for Mr. Stephen Brown.
If Mr. Brown is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Not appear so. Mr. Dotis?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Harold is 30 years old. Your Honor, I do have good contact information for him. He is also planning on not returning to the incident location. He does have a cousin who lives in the area that he's planning on staying with. His cousin Mika. He doesn't have her address, but I did make it clear to him that he needed to update that address once he spoke with her and got that address. Your Honor, he did recently come to Atlanta for a fresh start and for work. He currently works at the Dunkin' Donuts in Alpharetta, and he's hoping that job is still waiting for him. Your Honor, he's fine with a cooling off period. When I spoke with him, he didn't seem to want to have contact at this point in time with Mr. Brown, so we're fine with the stay away, fine with no further contact. I would note, Your Honor, just to clarify per the warrant, he did cooperate with law enforcement and he let them know that there was not a physical altercation. He did mention and he did volunteer that a phone was tossed on the bed, but there was no mention of a 911 call. The phone was not damaged. There's no injuries. Your Honor, at this point in time, I would ask for a signature bond, as Mr. Harold does not believe he can afford a monetary bond. He is fine with any classes that the court deems necessary. I'd ask for a 2-day anger awareness class through pretrial, as I'm not sure if he'd be able to afford the Family Violence Intervention Program at this time.
Okay, will be $1,000 good bond, 5 days of anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Brown, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Next is position 3, Mr. Brown.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004383G with 2 counts of battery family violence and 2 counts of simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. Last arrest was October 7th, 2023, out of Cobb County for theft by receiving stolen property and obstruction. That case was dismissed. There is a 2023 conviction for battery, family violence, and cruelty in the 3rd degree. There does appear to be a hold out of Warner Robins, Georgia, and an FTA hold out of Atlanta. 1 FTA from 2018 as well, Your Honor, and nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened on August 2nd, 2025 at 369 McDaniel Street in Atlanta. Officers responded to that location and spoke with Miss Janisha Trent. She advised that the defendant, who is the father of her child, was in town from Detroit, Michigan, and assaulted her and took their child, DB, away from the scene. The officers then called for backup because, they believe this to be an interference with the custody of Miss Trent. She advised that the defendant had come and she had pushed the defendant out of her house. She also advised that he came back in the house and grabbed her mouth. She described it as him sticking his hand in her mouth and grabbing the inside and outside of her cheeks with a clenched hand, which caused a visible laceration to her left cheek, which the officers did observe and took pictures of. Ms. Trent also advised the defendant began to punch her in her back, and officers observed red irritation on the left side of her back near her armpit, as well as irritation and an abrasion on the right side back between her armpit and her spine. The officers then were able to locate the defendant. Let's see. They observed the defendant at the Texaco gas station with the toddler who was identified as DB. And the defendant, let's see. The officers were able to speak with witnesses that said that he did not see anything. He did see the two of them arguing because she stated she had followed him across the street. And that was essentially all that they observed. I will say that the previous conviction, 22 SC 181487, did involve Miss Trent as well. The case was originally indicted as a false imprisonment, false statements, family violence battery, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. The DA's office null-prossed the false imprisonment and false statement. The defendant did plead guilty to the family violence battery and the cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, which would technically make this a felony offense. We have sent a recommendation up to the DA's office to evaluate this for a felony. However, we're still waiting on a response at this time. The defendant was sentenced to 24 months as a part of his probation, and that sentence was on April 10th of 2023, which means his probation was up essentially about 4 months ago, and then he committed this new offense when he was visiting from out of town. We are asking for a $7,000 surety bond that's due to both the previous family violence between the two individuals for which he was convicted, as well as the fact he has no ties to the community, given that he was coming in from out of town, Detroit, Michigan, to be specific. $3,000 per family violence battery, $1,000 per simple battery family violence. No further contact with Janisha Trent. Stay away from the villages at Castleberry Hill, which is the location at 369 McDaniel Street Southwest in Atlanta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no firearms. We would like to sound for Miss Trent. I will say she does not want to move forward. However, given the previous conviction, given the fact that this did involve her child, as well as the defendant taking her child without permission, and given the fact that this was the same child involved in the criminal and the cruelty to children in the third degree from 2022, we have serious concerns here, Your Honor. That's all for the state.
Thank you. If Ms. Janice Trent is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. Dotis?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Brown is 31 years old. I do have good contact information. He does reside in Detroit, but he was born and raised in the Atlanta area. His mom and sisters live here. He left to go to Detroit to get a fresh start. He does share a child with Miss Trent, the 3-year-old. He does financially support that child. And my understanding is that there was an informal arrangement where each month they'd switch off supporting the child, or having the child stay with them. He does work 3 jobs to support himself and financially support his son, at a chill box gas station, a Taco Bell, and Dollar Tree. Your Honor, after speaking with Mr. Brown, he does refute the allegations. Again, we'll get more into that later once we review all discovery. But I would note that he tried to cooperate with officers. He had videos. He tried to get away from the situation. The alleged victim kept following him, as well as handing off the son to him, despite not having any clothes or anything. I'm going to get with him and all the witnesses so we can go over that. Your Honor, he does have this foreign county hold. He tells me he cannot afford a monetary bond, so I will be asking for a signature bond, so that he could hopefully go deal with that foreign county hold. But if not, I'd ask for the lowest monetary bond so that he can take care of both of these matters.
For each of the battery charges will be a $2,000 good bond. For each of the simple battery charges will be a $1,000 good bond. Makes for a total of a $6,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Trent. Stay away from the McDaniel Street address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. Dotis, your client has his hand up.
Mr. Brown, we'll speak in private, okay? And if he's happy to hop on the phone with him, or we can come see him.
Mr. Dotis is going to speak with you, Mr. Brown. Good luck to you, sir. Would you like for me to take? Oh, go ahead.
Next is position 4, Mr. Cash.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cash. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0043848 with simple battery. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
7 cycles. Last arrest was August 21st, 2023, out of Fulton County for simple battery, family violence, and criminal damage to property in the first degree. That does appear to be an open probation case under 24 SC 001336 with a disposition date of December 10th, 2024, 6 years probation. In addition, there are convictions from 2017 for 2 counts of aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during 2018, entering auto, criminal damage to property, and theft by taking. Did receive first offender in 2008 for possession of tools. That case was sealed in 2011, and a 2013 conviction for simple battery, family violence, and nothing further.
Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened August 2nd, 2025 at 1655 Westlake Court, Northwest in Atlanta. Officers spoke with Mr. Michael Williams, who stated he made the 911 call. He was very upset, stated that the defendant, who was a friend of his for the last 2 years, who he had helped out a few times before, appeared at his door that morning with beer and wanted to hang out. They were hanging out upstairs. He was on the phone with his girlfriend, who had given him some money to go out. The defendant then asked his girlfriend, Mr. Williams then stated that the defendant asked his girlfriend if he could keep the money. And that's when the Mr. Williams' girlfriend and the defendant began arguing. Mr. Williams stated that the defendant began cursing out his girlfriend and disrespecting her. So he told the defendant he had to leave. The defendant then said he wasn't going anywhere. And as they walked down the stairs, according to Mr. Williams, the defendant struck him in the face. After he struck him in the face, Mr. Williams opened the front door so he could again leave. The defendant again began punching him. So Mr. Williams stated he grabbed the first thing he had on him or close to him, which was a knife, and defended himself. Mr. Cash, who's the defendant, received a cut to his left forearm and right shoulder area as a result of this. I am not sure. I don't believe Mr. Williams was arrested, but I would just need to double check. But I do not believe he was as a result of this, since he was acting in self-defense. And we are asking for a $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with Michael Williams, and stay away from 1655 Westlake Court Northwest in Atlanta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. The main reason for us requesting that is the defendant is actually still on felony probation from his 24 SC 001336 felony for criminal damage in the first degree, simple battery, family violence, and possession of a firearm, where he was given a 7-serve-1 sentence on December 10th of 2024, not even a year ago. And now he is, having this offense, as well as you heard from pretrial services, previous offenses that also involve violence where the defendant was sentenced, including a simple battery in 2013. And I believe she said there was another felony offense back in, I believe it was 2020. And I can double check on that, Your Honor. But the most recent offense is the one that concerns the state the most, because it's less than a year later and he's already in violation of the conditions that basically tell him to not engage in any further incidents, which he is now back in jail for. And that is the reason for our $3,000 surety bond, as well as to stay away and no further contact. That's all for the state. We would like to sound from Mr. Michael Williams in case he is here.
If Mr. Williams is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. Dotis?
Yes, Mr. Cash is 37 years old, Your Honor. I have good contact information for him, as well as a good address that is separate from the incident location. He's a lifelong resident of the Atlanta area. He does have family support, including a brother. He's also the father of 9 children, with the eldest being 16 years old. 3 of those children live with him, and the other 6 he financially supports. Where he currently works at Wet Shelf Works. It's a warehouse where he's an operator selector for frozen products. Your Honor, as stated, client did go to the alleged victim's home, but he did not go looking for any issues. I believe alcohol played a role in this. But Your Honor, Mr. Cash refutes that he's the primary aggressor. He was stabbed twice. I'm unclear why there wasn't more mentioned in that, but he did have to go to Grady before he was brought over to the jail. Your Honor, we're just asking for a signature bond so we can get back to support his family. He does not want any contact with Mr. Williams. He doesn't want to go back any there. He's clear that that is not someone he needs to be hanging out with. He just wants to get back to supporting his family and staying out of trouble.
And Your Honor, just to clarify, I was incorrect. It was not 2020. It was 2017 was his previous felony for aggravated assault with intent to murder, aggravated battery, and possession of a firearm and knife during commission of a felony. So this is his second felony second case that involves some sort of violence, the one in 2017 and then the most recent one in 2024.
Okay. It will be a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Michael Williams. Stay away from the Westlake Court address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Cash. Courtroom 2, may I take the interpreter case next?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, and tell me who that is again, please.
Position 23.
Thank you. Ms. Chansey, good afternoon again. If you'll raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that you will interpret from Spanish to English, English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Marcellus. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004396Y with possession and use of drug-related objects, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, knowingly driving a motor vehicle on a suspended registration, no insurance, and driving without a valid license.
Buenas tardes, señor Macías. En el caso 25CR004396Y, usted ha sido acusado con tenencia y uso de objetos relacionados con la droga, tenencia de marihuana en una cantidad menor a 1 onza. También a sabiendas conduciendo un vehículo con una registración suspendida y sin seguro y manejando sin una licencia válida.
Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
¿Hay antecedentes, señora Harvey?
No, Your Honor, first arrest.
No, este es el primer arresto, su señoría.
Mr. Siraka?
Señora Sirac.
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place on August 2nd of this year at around 9 in the morning.
Sí, su señoría, este incidente ocurrió el 29 de agosto, perdón, el 2 de agosto, alrededor de las 9 de la mañana.
The officer was traveling north on Oakley Industrial Boulevard in Fairburn when he observed a 2013 Camaro in front of him traveling the same direction.
El oficial de policía estaba conduciendo hacia el norte en Oakley Industrial Boulevard en Fairburn cuando observó un Camaro del 2013 enfrente de él viajando en la misma dirección.
A GCSE check revealed that the registration was suspended for the vehicle and there was no valid insurance coverage.
Él registró la registración del vehículo, la cual estaba suspendida para ese vehículo en particular y tampoco no había una licencia perdón, un seguro válido en ese vehículo.
The officer initiated a traffic stop and made contact with the driver, later identified as the defendant.
El oficial inició una detención en el tránsito y se contactó con el conductor que se identificó después como este acusado.
The officer, upon contact, noticed a faint odor of marijuana emanating from the vehicle.
El oficial, después de hacer contacto con el acusado, notó un olor a marihuana que venía desde adentro del vehículo.
Another check also confirmed that the defendant did not possess a valid driver's license.
Y otro chequeo también demostró que el conductor no poseía una licencia de conducir válida.
Um, Ultimately, the defendant was arrested, and a search incident to arrest revealed a glass smoking pipe in the pants pocket of the defendant.
Últimamente se arrestó al acusado y un registro del incidente para arrestarlo. En ese registro se encontró una pipa de vidrio en los pantalones, el bolsillo del pantalón del acusado.
That glass pipe later tested positive for suspected methamphetamine. It was confirmed methamphetamine, that is. And then 3.7 grams of marijuana were also recovered.
Um, se confirmó que en este objeto el contenido de metanfetamina y después se obtuvo 3.7 gramos de marihuana que también se recuperó.
And it should be noted as well, while we don't have cases in GCIC for this, it was noted in the report that the defendant had been previously stopped, cited, and released on July 16th of this year for driving with a suspended registration, no valid insurance, and driving while unlicensed.
Queda mencionar también que mientras no tenemos casos en GCIC por sus siglas en inglés, por esto se notó en el informe que el acusado había sido detenido anteriormente. Había recibido un citatorio y puesto en libertad el 16 de julio de este año por manejar con una registración suspendida.
The state's recommendation for bond on this case is a signature bond through pretrial services, which is a reduction from the $2,000 surety that is currently in place.
Em, la recomendación de la Fiscalía es una fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio, la cual es una reducción de la fianza bajo garantía de $2.000 que es válida actualmente.
No driving without valid license, insurance, and registration.
Queda prohibido manejar sin una licencia válida, seguro del vehículo y registración.
And no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Y se prohíbe el uso de drogas, armas y alcohol mientras esté libre bajo fianza.
Any objection to any of that, Mr. McLean?
¿Hay alguna objeción en contra de eso, señor McLean?
No objection, Your Honor. We've been in touch with the voicemail of his spouse, and we'll pass that along to the family if the court can go along with that.
No hay ninguna objeción, su señoría. Hemos estado en contacto a través de mensaje grabado con la esposa y pasaremos este mensaje a la familia si el juez acepta ordenar esto.
Okay. As such, for the driving without a valid license will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For each of the other charges will be a $250 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1.
Muy bien, por esto entonces, por manejar sin una licencia válida será $1.000 de multa, perdón, de fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio en el nivel 1. Por cada uno de los otros cargos serán $250 de fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio en el nivel 1. Esto hace un total de $2.000 de fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio en el nivel 1.
No driving without valid documentation, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Queda prohibido manejar sin la documentación apropiada y se prohíbe el uso de drogas, armas y alcohol mientras esté libre bajo fianza.
Good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Do we need Madam Chancey for any other cases this afternoon?
None that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Chancey, thank you very much. We'll appreciate everything. We'll see you next time.
You're welcome. Until next time, sir.
Your Honor. You have before you position number 7, Miss Evans.
Good afternoon, Ms. Evans. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004386A with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
2 cycles. The last arrest was for battery out of Fulton County, April 6, 2024. No disposition was listed. There is an additional open case for theft by shoplifting as well under 19 CR 008763A, and nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened August 1st of 2025, and it occurred at 1955 Dunlap Avenue in East Point. Officers spoke with Miss Cherry Hurd, who stated the defendant was drinking alcohol and started to cause a noise disturbance in the residence. Miss Hurd confronted her, told her to leave before she called the police. The defendant became upset and pushed Miss Hurd with an open hand into the television, causing damage to the television screen. Miss Hurd's second daughter, Shantaria Hurd, witnessed the physical altercation. There was not any injury to Miss Hurd, just damage to the television. And after the altercation, the defendant grabbed her items and left the residence. When officers spoke with Miss Hurd, she stated the defendant, who's her daughter, she did not wish for her to come back to that residence. We had an opportunity to speak with Miss Hurd, and she confirmed the events in the warrant. She stated this is not the first time the defendant has been violent toward her and not the first time the police have been called, but it has been the first time the defendant has been arrested. She stated she wants no violent contact with the defendant and wants the defendant to stay away from the residence. She did state that the defendant's sister, who I believe may be Shantaria Hurd, will come and pick up her belongings. Miss Hurd will be here on Zoom. We are asking for SOB through trial services, level 1, stay away from 1955 Dunlap Avenue in East Point, no further violent contact with Cherry Hurd, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We're also asking for 2 days of anger awareness. We would at this time like to sound for Miss Cherry Hurd. That's all for the state.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Ms. Hurd. Can you come on camera for me, please, ma'am?
My screen is acting up. I'm trying to fix it, but I don't know if it's not letting me show.
Okay, I'm happy to hear from you, Ms. Hurd, but I'm gonna have to see you.
Okay.
So I'll give you the opportunity to see if you can get on another device or get that to work. While I do that, I'll go, Ms. McLeod, is this your case?
It is, Your Honor. We are okay with the signature bond through pretrial, Your Honor. I'm not sure if the anger awareness is necessary, but if that is what the court chooses to impose as a condition of the signature bond, we're okay with that. My client is okay with no further violent contact with her mom. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Does she live at that Dunlap
She does
Avenue
not.
address? She does not live there?
No,
Okay.
Your Honor. She has a separate address that she's given to me.
Okay, and Ms. Falk, you have spoken with your office has spoken with Ms. Hurd.
Yes, Your Honor. And Miss Hurd does want contact with her daughter. She just doesn't want her to come back around to the house.
And there she is. So, Ms. Hurd, can you go ahead and unmute for me there?
Can you hear me?
Okay, you're gonna have to turn off that other device now.
Okay. I'm here.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
Well, my daughter, we all are going through something right now. We just buried my son, her oldest brother. I know she's going through a lot, but my daughter, she really needs to get herself together. I mean, I love her truly, honestly, but she needs to get herself together. It's a lot. It's a lot going on with her.
Okay.
But I do appreciate the signature bond because we have exhausted all our money. We cannot bond her out. And the stay away order, nonviolent contact.
Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Hurd. I'm sorry about your son, ma'am.
Thank you.
As such, for the simple battery will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the criminal trespass, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 2 days of anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Hurd. Stay away from the Dunlap Avenue address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Thank you, Your
Thank you,
Honor.
Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Next is position 30, Ms. Span.
Good afternoon, Ms. Span. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004408E with driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, driving under the influence of drugs, driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs, improper erratic lane change, and unlawful to possess, display, or use any false, fraudulent, or altered identification document. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
No,
Your
Your
Honor,
Honor.
Yeah.
I think it's Miss Penn, I think, Penn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that's position 26, Your Honor. Span and Penn sound so much alike.
Okay. 6. Jamisha Penn,
Yes, Your
is
Honor.
that right? Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Penn. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004401F with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 7 cycles. Last arrest was April 29th, 2025 with the Hateville Police Department for driving while license suspended or revoked. There does appear to be an open case. Also has an open case for battery. Under case number 24, CR 000721F. She is currently being supervised by a pretrial for that case, and we will be doing a bond surrender. In addition, there is an open case for battery family violence under 25 CR 004196Y. There are open cases out of Clayton County for terroristic threats and acts. An additional open case out of Clayton County for false imprisonment, battery, false statements, cruel to the children in 3rd degree, and an open case with Atlanta Municipal Court for driving while license suspended or revoked, and driving on a council or revoked registration, and nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Soraka?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place August 1st of this year. This was at the 3660 Marketplace Boulevard, East Point Target. The defendant and Miss Latrice Brewster were both observed on store surveillance, concealing various items of merchandise, clothing, electronics, groceries, health and beauty products, home goods, cleaning supplies, everything under the sun. The items that the defendant was caught with totaled roughly $432, and the Miss Latrice Brewster's item count, all that ultimately added up to $566.87. We are in the process of seeking a felony transfer for this. We have not heard back yet, but we are seeking one as party to a crime here, given the involvement, the two of these women doing this together. And ultimately, she was arrested. We are seeking, currently it's set at a $600 surety bond. We ask that it at least remain set at that, given her recent history and the potential felony transfer for this that we are looking for. We ask for stay away from all targets in Fulton County, which is consistent with the criminal trespass that Target gave her, or are set to give her, according to Target. And no further contact with co-defendant Latrice Brewster, as well as no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Thank you. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm going to be asking for a signature bond for my client. She is 22 years old. She has good contact information, Your Honor. She is the mother of three minor children, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 5-year-old that she supports. She doesn't, although she is employed, it would be a hardship for her to post a surety bond, Your Honor. And she tells me that apart from the traffic arrest, she doesn't have anything else. So I think the um the cases out of Clayton County may not be her, Your Honor, because she told me that other than this, the only other thing she has a traffic violation. So I'm asking for signature bond for her, Your Honor.
And I
Well,
just
it's my
want
understanding that, I'm sorry, that she has 2 open cases out of Fulton County that are misdemeanors, that she was supervised by pretrial on one of the cases.
I thought that that was traffic related, Your Honor. That was my understanding.
I have a battery and a battery family violence that pretrial just told me about. Is that correct, Mr. Sirocco?
I believe I have that too, Judge. And with respect to no history, I'm seeing a lot of history and a lot of recent history. From 2020 ag assault, 2024 battery, driving while license suspended or revoked. There were 2 of those in 24. And then you have the open cases out of Clayton. So far from no history. And that's just back 5 years.
Well, based on what she tells me, she's only 22 years old, Your Honor. She tells me she had something traffic related because we did discuss any previous history.
Okay. I'm gonna leave the bond where it is, $600 good bond. Stay away from all targets. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
And Judge,
Up
would
to
you
you.
order no further contact with the co-defendant here, Latrice Brewster? So the open case for her is 25 PI 006235. It's a felony theft by shoplifting.
And no further contact with Latrice Brewster. All right, good luck to you, Ms. Payne.
Thank
Next,
you, Your Honor. That concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Ms. McLeod. We appreciate it. You have a good rest of your afternoon.
The same to you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
position 15, Mr. Johnson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Johnson. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004407A with simple battery. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. Last arrest was out of Heard County for failure to appear, September 9th, 2024. There is an additional open case under 25 PI 006245 for possession of a controlled substance, Schedule 1 or 2, and purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana. Also appears to have an open case for simple assault under 24 CR 004724A. Appears to be on probation out of Clayton County for sale of marijuana with a disposition date of September 4th, 2024 to 3 years probation, and on probation out of Heard County for driving while license suspended or revoked. Sentence September 10th, 2024 to 12 months probation. In addition, there appears to be holds out of Franklin County and Jonesboro, Georgia. 2 FTAs from 2024 as well, Your Honor, and nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. If you'll just give me a moment, I wanted to see about a case that pretrial mentioned when they were speaking. So, as you've heard, this defendant has foreign holds out of Clayton County, Franklin, and Sandy Springs. The defendant also currently has a failure to appear on that 24 CR 004724A case. He's being held on a $4,000 surety bond on a failure to appear on that case, and no bond, which may have been modified by this point, on that 25 PI 006245 possession of marijuana and VGCSA. So in this case, Your Honor, the defendant was working at McDonald's at 6360 Powers Ferry Road in Sandy Springs, and he was an employee at that location. He threw a fountain drink on Mr. Charles Fowler, who was over 65 years of age, striking him in the face with the beverage. They had been involved in a verbal dispute over a change for a purchase of a meal from that McDonald's. And the store surveillance camera did capture the defendant throwing the drink in Mr. Fowler's face. The state's recommendation, given the FTA, the multiple holds, and the pending felony, is $1,000 surety bond. No further contact with Charles Fowler. Stay away from the McDonald's at 6360 Powers Ferry Road in Sandy Springs if he is no longer employed there, which I believe he would not be. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and 2-day anger awareness. We would like to sound for Charles Fowler, and that's all for the state. Your Honor, we are asking if you do give this case a surety bond, that it join the other 24 CR case, the FTA case, on the SAP calendar.
If Mr. Charles Fowler is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Mr. Dotis?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Johnson is 32 years old. He's a lifelong resident of the city of Atlanta. He has a good address here. He's supported by his family, including his mother, as well as his fiance. He's also a father of two, a 10 and 8-year-old who live with him and he provides for. He works kitchen cleanup and kitchen inspections with his company, Sky's the Limit Cleaning. He no longer associates with the McDonald's, has no reason to go back there or have any contact with this individual. Mr. Johnson does have a couple of other holds. At this point in time, I don't believe he's going to be able to afford a monetary bond, so I would ask for a signature bond in this case. If this is an SAP reset, I agree with Ms. Falk. I'd like it if we can make sure everything tracks together.
Okay, it will be $1,000 good bond. No further contact with Charles Fowler. Stay away from the McDonald's on Powers Ferry Road. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Ms. Bridgewater, did you need that number again?
Yes, please give me that case number again.
It is 25 CR 004407A.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck to you, Mr. Johnson.
Position number 2, Miss Daniel.
Tell me again.
Position number 2, Daniel.
That
I think
should
it's 5.
be position number 5.
That's 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jeanette Daniel? Yes. Okay. Yes, position 5. Miss Daniel, you've been charged in case 25 CR 004412C with terroristic threats and acts. Is there a history, Miss Harvey?
One prior arrest, Your Honor, from 1998 for aggravated assault. There was no disposition listed on that case, and nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This happened at 3381 Greenbrier Parkway Southwest in Atlanta. Officers responded there because the defendant wanted her grandson to leave the apartment. She was asked if there was any weapon in the apartment. She stated yes, she had a firearm. And when the officers spoke with her, they learned that the defendant had her grandson staying there for the past 2 months. So they did explain to her that he had established residency. She would not be able to remove him from the property. And at that point, the defendant stated that if they did not do anything, she would kill him. She repeated the threat several times and then stated she will go to her room and grab her firearm. And at that point, she rushed into her room. The officer, understandably fearing that she was going for the weapon that she had told him was inside her bedroom, went and placed her in handcuffs before she could make it into the room. She then stated she did not mean to threaten her grandson. She just wanted to scare him, and the officer placed her under arrest. The state's recommendation, due to the fact that her last arrest was approximately 27 years ago, would be the SOB through pretrial services level 1, no further contact with Jalen Anthony. Stay away from Parkview at Coventry Station, which is the 3381 Greenbrier Parkway address in Atlanta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And we're also asking that she surrender all firearms to the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. We did recommend this case for a felony, being that it is a terroristic threat, which should suggest death. which would be a felony terroristic threats, but we have not received a response from the DA's office at this time. That's all for the state. We would like to sound for Mr. Jalen Anthony if he is present.
Mr. Anthony is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Mr. Dotis?
Yes, Judge. Miss Daniel is 74 years old. No convictions, no FTAs. She's a lifelong resident of Atlanta. She does have the support of her daughter in the area. Your Honor, she is currently residing at the incident location. She plans on returning. I'll note that that's a senior citizen facility that she's living at. She is retired, Your Honor. The alleged victim is a grandson that she was attempting to help out. Your Honor, there was a misunderstanding in how to handle this, and it was handled poorly. But she's always just tried to help her grandson. I'm not sure if I haven't been able to get in contact with him, but she wants to continue having no further violent contact with him. We would just ask for a signature bond. Given no history, I'd ask it to be through the jail. And Judge, I would note if there's any concern, if necessary, a one-time police escort to ensure that he no longer is living at the residence. But Your Honor, she's 74 years old. That's a senior citizen facility. She has no place else to go.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Jalen Anthony. She can go back to that Greenbrier Parkway address with law enforcement. If Mr. Anthony does not reside there, she can stay. If he is there, then she's going to have to get her belongings and find someplace else to reside in the meantime. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, and this time surrender all weapons or firearms.
Thank you, Judge. And my understanding is, I forgot to mention this, the grandson has left the location. He has another place to stay. So I don't anticipate any issues with that.
Okay, very good. Good luck to you, Mr. Daniel.
Next, position 24, Mr. Outlaw.
Good afternoon, Mr. Outlaw. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004398F with battery family violence, simple battery family violence, and hindering persons making an emergency telephone call. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
2 cycles out of North Carolina. The last arrest was in 2015, which was a failure to appear. Nothing further.
Mr. Sirocco?
Yes, Judge, I do just want to add, I did see another one from North Carolina. It was 2014 communicating threats. I believe that case was dismissed. This incident took place August 2nd of this year at 5750 Buffington Road in Union City. Officers responded in reference to a verbal and physical altercation. The victim here is Brianna Ward. The defendant is her mother's ex-boyfriend. Defendant was arguing with her mother at the location. Miss Keela Ward is her name, who felt threatened and called out to the victim to call the police. When the victim tried calling 911, the defendant snatched the phone out of her hand and backhanded her in the face. She sustained a busted lip and bruising from the incident that the officer observed. We have spoken with the victim. She confirmed that the defendant is her mother's ex-boyfriend. Defendant was screaming and yelling in Miss Ward's face, her mother's face, and she was screaming for the victim to call the police. As she was trying to call the police, defendant took the phone and then hit her in the mouth. She stated that dispatch kept calling her phone back and he kept rejecting the call, and that her mother is currently in the process of filing for a TPO. There was a hearing today at 1:30, she informed us. She explained that they do not want contact with the defendant and want him to stay away from the residence. She should be on Zoom if we could sound for Miss Buffington when appropriate. The state's recommendation here is going to be a $3,000 surety bond, that is a 2,000 on the battery family violence and a 500 surety for the for each of the remaining counts of the simple battery family violence and the obstructing, hindering the phone call. Due to the risk of witness intimidation here with the incident and what's been alleged, and evidenced by the fact that they felt strongly enough to get a TPO in addition to his history. So we would sound for Ms. Buffington at this time. Excuse me, Ms. Ward, and thank you if either of the wards are here. But we're asking as well for no further contact with either individual, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol, and we're asking for FFIP.
If Brianna Ward is on the line or Ms. Buffington is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. He is from North Carolina, but he's been in Georgia for over 6 years. His contacts are local. He has worked, he currently works and has worked in producing items in a factory, including ice. He's also worked in a warehouse logistics situation. He is high school educated from North Carolina. Of course, he was 18 when he was in North Carolina, but he's been in Georgia ever since he's 30 now, so he's been here for since he was 24. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond under these circumstances. He has a place to go. He'll live with friends.
For the battery, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For each of the other charges, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Ward or Ms. Buffington.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I misspoke earlier, Judge. It's not Buffington. That was the name of the road. They're both Miss Ward. One is, let me make sure.
Donna and
Keela.
Brianna and Keela, that's correct.
Okay. Stay away from those two individuals. Or no further contact with them. Stay away from the Buffington Road address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Outlaw.
Next, we have Ms. Fisher. I think that's number 8.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Fisher. You have been charged in case 25CR004387C with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
One moment, Your Honor. Fisher. Oh, sorry. Last arrest was December 20th, 2018 out of Cherokee County for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. That was the only arrest, and it appears that she completed the conditional discharge program, and that case was dismissed. And nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, it happened August 2nd, 2025 at 845 Roswell Creek Lane, apartment C in Roswell. Officers spoke with Dakota Chapman, who stated that the defendant kicked in the apartment door and struck him in the head with a beer bottle. There was no visible injury or broken glass. They are married and have lived together at this apartment for approximately 2 weeks. We are agreeable to an SOB through pretrial services level 2, no further violent contact with Dakota Chapman, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, 3-day anger awareness. We did speak with Mr. Chapman. He stated that they are married, they do live together, they do not share children. He stated nothing happened, they were arguing, and he actually denies the incident and wants to continue contact. However, given the circumstances, given the fact he called police, we are concerned about there being a risk of reoffense. So we are asking for pretrial services level 2 to continue that monitoring as well as the anger awareness courses out of an abundance of caution. We would like to, at this time, sound for Dakota Chapman. That's all for the state.
Mr. Chapman, is the court, now is your opportunity. I'll need for you to activate your camera and unmute yourself if you choose to address the court. It does not appear that Mr. Chapman, if that's him under Dakota's iPhone, wishes to address the court. Mr. Dotis?
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Fisher is 30 years old. As we heard, no convictions, no history. Your Honor, we do have issues, and my understanding is that the alleged victim wants contact and is recanting what was said previously. Given her lack of history, Judge, we're in agreement with the signature bond and no further violent contact. But I believe that pretrial level 1 would be more appropriate in this situation.
Okay. Will be a $2,000 signature bond for pretrial level 1, 3 days of anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Chapman, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Fisher.
Your Honor, how much anger awareness classes?
3.
Okay, thank you.
Next is position 31, Mr. Sweet.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sweet. You have been charged in case 25CR004410Y with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
First arrest, Your Honor.
Mr. Sirocco?
Judge, I do have an arrest. It was from 2021 for possession of tools for the commission of a crime and theft by receiving. I don't have a disposition for that case, however. So I've had this as being a second. This incident took place, this was March 31st of this year, in the afternoon of March 31st at 1165 Octavia Street, Southeast Atlanta. Law enforcement had responded to a 911 call from the victim, Miss Chantel Onley, who explained that she had been attacked by her son, the defendant. This was ultimately there's a follow-up investigation for this case, and she had explained that the defendant has behavioral problems. She told him he can't bring marijuana into her house. He got upset. Got in her face, calling her obscenities, yelling. So she tried to separate herself from him, at which point he punched her, struck her in the arm, and also in the back. She identified him as the one who did, in fact, attack her. We have spoken with the victim, Miss Onley, and she confirmed she is the defendant's mother. They are in and out, excuse me, he is in and out of her home. She confirmed the events in the warrant and explained that she had to call the police actually as recently as Saturday because the defendant had destroyed her property by kicking holes in the wall. She explained that there is maybe some MH here. I'm not sure if it quite qualifies as MH, but regardless, he is not taking his medication for it. She said the defendant needs help with that. It is, I would say it is MH related. So she explained that she does not want contact with the defendant and she wants him to stay away from her residence. He would need a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve his belongings. Given the recent destruction of property, this issue that's ongoing clearly is not going away. So we are concerned for her safety. The state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond. We are seeking 2-day anger awareness as well as MHET. No further contact with Miss Chantel Onley. Continue on medication, prescribed medication that he is currently not taking. Stay away from 1165 Octavia Street, Southeast Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I don't believe the victim is with us today, but in accordance with Marcy's law, we would sound for her at this time.
If Ms. Onley is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, he is 18, almost 19. Certainly local here. practically all his life, despite obviously showing another state for date of birth. He's been here pretty much all his life. Carver High School, for example. Retail grocery work in the past, restaurant work. He's got a friend named Nick with whom he can go live. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond. We do have social workers available to advise him on getting over to any help that he needs.
All right. I do want him to have a social worker visit, Mr. McLean. It will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Social worker visit to assess for BHET and to make sure that he has adequate place to reside. No further contact with Ms. Onley. Stay away from the Octavia Street address. You can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. I want him to have random drug and alcohol screens. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Judge, would you consider anything in the realm of MHET or continue on the medication that he's supposed to be taking right now?
If he's supposed to be on medication, I'll have him adhere to all prescription medication.
Thank you.
Client has his hand up, Mr. McLean. You want to discuss those terms with him after court today?
After court would be fine, Your Honor. I'll be right here at the desk and he can call from there.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Glenn, good afternoon.
I'm sorry, which case is this?
This is position number 31 with Mr. Sweet.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Who do we have next?
Next is position 33, Mr. Wood.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wood. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004413B with criminal trespass and damage to property and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history?
Yes, Your Honor. 14 cycles. Last arrest was March 17, 2023 for aggravated assault, cruel to the children in 3rd degree, and simple battery. Thus, no disposition was listed on that case. He does appear to have an open case under 24 SC 005190, aggravated assault and possession of a knife during the commission of a felony. Did receive first offender in 2014 for theft by receiving stolen property, hit and run. That case was sealed in 2021. Convictions from 2014 for possession of tools and burglary in the 2nd degree. 2022 battery, family violence. 2023 battery, simple battery, and simple assault. And one moment. And nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge. So this was July 12th at 3193 East Point Street in East Point. Law enforcement was dispatched to the location. It's an apartment complex regarding a fight. Upon arrival, the officer met with the defendant first, who stated he was in his car with his girlfriend. She cut him off, and he claimed she punched her while he was driving. There was, I don't believe any injuries were observed with respect to that. He stated that Miss Hewley wanted him to leave, and he told her he would break the window. The officers made contact with Miss Hewley, and that is Jessica Hewley, the victim here, who she explained she had traveled to the address to visit her boyfriend, Mr. Wood. He was sitting in her car, and she wanted him to leave because he was intoxicated. She told him to get out. He was upset, said he didn't want to leave, and that he would bust her window. And the officer observed the rear window busted. He was detained there, and he continued to refuse initially to come out when officers ordered him to come out of the apartment, and he also snatched away when he was being put in handcuffs. Um, and that is that. With respect to his history, it is particularly violent and particularly aggressive. As you heard, number of convictions in recent years, uh, in addition to a number of terroristic threats and acts cases that I see here. I don't have dispositions for all of them, but I count at least four since, going back to 2017 terroristic threats and acts cases. There was a battery family violence arrest from 2018 at Lithonia, disposition unknown for that. But with respect to his recent convictions, pretrial mentioned the battery family violence conviction from 2022 out of DeKalb. So we have that here. We also have the case number is 23 SC 188339. That is a conviction for the defendant for battery, 2 counts of simple battery, and I believe simple assault as well. But there was originally an aggravated assault that was dismissed. And his battery conviction is for striking the same victim that we have here, Miss Hewley, with a knife, cutting her, causing lacerations. So that is a conviction on his record against the same victim, also CA 2022 FTA. Did pretrial mention, I apologize, the open aggravated assault case, 24 SC 005190?
Yes, she did.
Okay, thank you. The state's recommendation, it's currently set at a $6,000 surety bond. We recommend it remain set at a $6,000 surety bond between the two charges here, each of them $3,000 surety. For the defendant to complete FIB, have no further contact with Ms. Jessica Hewley, stay away from this was his residence. And no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. We did speak with the victim. She confirmed they are in a relationship. They don't live together and don't share children. She confirmed the events in the warrant, and she states that she didn't see the defendant break her window, and that he paid her $400 to fix said window, and that she does not wish to press charges. She should be on the Zoom if we can sound for Ms. Hewley at this time.
Ms. Hughley is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, he's 32 years old, but he's been in Georgia for 29 of those 32 years since he was 3. So he's a local person, certainly. Local high school. He works at a rental car company as an employee there. He's also done flagging in the past on the road crews and also been in a cleaning crew. He's as local as he can be, and he is industrious. The arrest record is what it is, but we would ask the court to consider a signature bond. But if a signature bond is not in the office, we would ask the court to consider a $1,000 to $1,500 surety.
Okay. For each charge will be a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $1,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Hughley, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Next is position 21, Mr. Lee.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lee. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004393G with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor, 8 cycles. Last arrest was November 7th, 2023 out of Fulton County for a failure to appear. He does have an open case for theft by taking under 22 CR 003596E and a 2024 conviction for criminal trespass and damage to property, and nothing further.
Mr. Sirocco?
Yes, Judge. This incident took place August 2nd at 3209 Briarwood Boulevard in East Point. Law enforcement responded there in reference to a domestic incident. It was determined in the course of investigation that the defendant had struck Miss Natasha Youngblood, the victim here, in the arm. She is the mother of his children. They lived together at the incident location. And this was after he became upset about the victim's mother always having their 3 children. Multiple witnesses saw this take place. You have Miss Renisha Clinkscales, who is the sister of the victim. She saw the defendant hitting her sister while she was on the ground. You have the victim's mother, Miss Elizabeth Clinkscales, who saw the victim on the floor while the defendant was standing over her, striking her. And also, apparently, a 4-year-old child, their oldest, juvenile KL, was present and seeing this as well. And in addition to that, Miss Clinkscales, the sister, had advised that Mr. Lee actually stated he was going to take the children and place them in the car to watch them burn. So we've spoken with the victim here. She confirmed they are in a relationship. They live together at the incident location and share 3 children. She denies the defendant ever stated he was going to do any such thing with respect to the burning of the kids in the car. She stated the defendant had just woke up out of his sleep and hit her. She states she does not believe that the defendant was fully aware of what he was doing and that she is not in fear, wants to continue contact, wants him to return to the residence. We're not okay with any of that here. We're concerned for her safety. He's got no insignificant criminal history here, but the crux of it is it's the 2023, it's from November 2023 FTA, as well as the alleged threats here that a third-party witness told officers that she heard from the defendant. So we are concerned for her. We're seeking, given this, a $3,000 surety, no further contact with Natasha Youngblood, especially given that this was only August 2nd, for the defendant to complete FFIB, stay away from 3209 Briarwood Boulevard in East Point, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond, in addition to no unsupervised contact with the children here. And we want to sound for, at this time, the victim, Miss Youngblood.
Miss Youngblood is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. While he was born in Americus, he's got family here in Atlanta. He's also got family in Cordele. He's got siblings here in Atlanta with whom he can stay if necessary on MLK. Your Honor, he works in the warehouse. He's a high school graduate, and he and I discussed the 2023 FTA and its possible impact on this bond situation. If a signature bond is not available for him because of that, Your Honor, or for any other reason, we would ask the court to consider a $1,000 surety bond. He has the knowledge of where to go get the information at the clerk's office and where to tell the clerk, same place, where to tell the clerk that his new address is to move.
Hello?
Oh, there we go.
Yes. Give me just one moment. Anything further than Mr. McLean?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Okay. Is this Miss Youngblood? You have to unmute yourself for me, ma'am.
Yes, this is me.
Okay. If you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me, please. The other hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What would you like to tell the court, Miss Youngblood?
That the burning part is a lie. He never stated that out his mouth. And what I told officers that he was upset when he woke up about, because my kids, they leave out the room at night. And he was upset that my mom had got them in. He was just mad that he wasn't really aggressive. Like I told them, he wasn't really aggressive. He's an active father. He does his job. He pays his bill that he stay when he stays here. He take care of everything. I don't even work right now. But the burning part, that was an absolute lie. I don't even know why my sister would even say that. I don't know. Because when I asked him about it, when he told me, both my mom and my sister denied it. So hearing that's outrageous to me, because it did not come out his mouth. He loves his kids and he take very good care of his kids. He was just upset that my mom had got them when they left out the room instead of bringing them back. And that was it.
Okay, well, tell me what he did to you.
He only, like I said, he was upset. He wasn't all the way woke. Like I said, they go back and listen to the body count footage. His mom suffers from mental health, and I told him he needs to go get evaluated too, because it shouldn't be no reason he wakes up like out of his sleep. He shouldn't have woke up angry like that out of his sleep.
Okay, well, you still haven't told me what he did.
All he did was hit me in my arm 2 or 3 times. He wasn't beating me. I didn't have no bruises. I wasn't messed up. I was just trying to calm him down. That's what I kept telling officers, because he's not usually like that. He go to work, come home, and take care of his business.
Has this ever happened before?
Other than when we got arrested, in 2021, but like I told the people that called me earlier, I was the aggressive in that. But other than that, he's not like that.
Okay.
That's why he's never been really convicted of nothing like that before. He's not a violent person. He would never harm his kids. And he's an active father. And he works. The only one that works. So I can be at home with my kids.
Okay, does he, and you said something a little while ago, when he's here or something of that nature, does he always stay at the Briarwood?
Yes, he's always, that's what I'm saying. He's always here. He's present, and he helps pay rent in his house. He helps pay bills.
Who else lives in that house?
My sister and my mom.
Okay.
Along with my kids also.
How many children do you have?
I have 4 in total, 3 biologically his.
And how old are those children?
4, 3, and 1. And then the part about my daughter being in a room was an absolute lie. You can go back and read look at the body count footage. My mom, I had told her all of my kids was downstairs with my mom. That's why he was upset.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Sirocco?
You just briefly, a few questions for Miss Youngblood.
Okay.
Miss Youngblood, both your mother and your sister were there when this all took place, correct?
They was in the same house, but they didn't see what happened. Nobody was in this room but me and him.
Would you be surprised to learn that they both spoke to the police? Are you aware of that?
I was outside with them, so yes. But I kept walking away because and even like I said, you go back, I kept telling them, don't say that. That's a lie. That's not true. I kept advocating for him because, like I said, he's not a violent person. He helps them pay their bills.
Okay. And would you be surprised that they both told officers that he was standing over you, hitting you?
Yeah, because I told them that. But they didn't witness nothing. Like I said, the only thing was when my mom tried to come in the room. And she had messed up my little door. That was it. But we was in a room by ourselves.
So you're saying
your mother
tried to, your mother tried to come in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because she heard commotion?
She heard yes. Basically, she heard the commotion.
Were you calling out for her?
No, I wasn't calling for help or anything. Because like I said, he wasn't barely doing anything. Like, it wasn't hurting. I wasn't in fear for my life. He just hit me 1 or twice, and it was just that.
But you said she busted the door a bit, right?
No, she was trying to come in the room. Like, my door was locked. She tried to come in the room.
And how long would you say she kept trying to come in the room?
I'd say about 1 or twice, because the door is so thin. So it's easily to be opened. It was already messed up when we moved in back in June.
So she was concerned about you enough to try and come in the room from what she was hearing?
I guess so, from the noise, because it was early in the morning.
All right. No further questions, Judge.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Youngblood. I appreciate you being here.
No problem.
Anything further from either counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, if not, it will be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 5 days of anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Youngblood, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Next is position 27, Mr. Perryman.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perryman. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004402H with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. Last arrest was 2023 out of Bibb County for theft by deception. There was no disposition listed for this case. There is a 2003 conviction for robbery, Your Honor, and nothing further.
Mr. Sirocco?
Yes, Judge, this took place August 2nd of this year at 4980 Stonewall Tell Road in Union City. Law enforcement responded in reference to it was a physical altercation, made contact with the caller and victim, Maisha Whipple. She's the wife of the defendant. She explained that the defendant had grabbed her by her wrist and threw water on her. The defendant admitted to grabbing her wrist, stating it was because she was destroying bags that belonged to her and were already damaged. We have spoken with the victim. She confirmed they are married. They don't live together and they don't share children. The incident location is her residence. She stated, excuse me, she had allowed the defendant to borrow her car, but then she took the car back and sold it, and this upset the defendant. He had grabbed her wrist, her neck, and threw water on her. She stated she was able to breathe and didn't feel like she was going to pass out. She does not want contact with the defendant. She does want him to stay away from her residence. She is, I don't believe she's on the Zoom with us. We would ask the court sound for her when appropriate. Given, however, what we're hearing with respect to the grabbing her around the neck and the risk factors associated with that in family violence, we are concerned for her safety. State's asking for a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with Maisha Whipple. Stay away from, it is 4980 Stonewall Tell Road, Union City, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
If Ms. Whipple is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, been in the Atlanta area for quite some time. He's pretty local, even before that, being born and raised in Macon. But he has an Associate's of Science degree in computer technology. He has worked in sales, worked as a machinist. Do we have one of the people show up?
I don't think so, Mr. McLean.
All right, I thought I heard something there. And so we would ask the court to consider a signature bond in this situation, Your Honor.
Right, will be $1,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Whipple, stay away from the Stonewall Tell Road address, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Perryman.
Next is position 6, Mr. Easter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Easter. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004385G with criminal trespass. Your history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. Multi-state offender with arrests out of Missouri and Tennessee. The last arrest was out of St. Louis, Missouri, February 26, 2025, for property damage in the first degree. That does appear to be an open case. Also appears to have an open case for out of Missouri from July 30th, 2024 for possession of controlled substance. There are convictions out of Missouri from 2025 for possession of a controlled substance. Out of Oklahoma from 2023 for possession of controlled substance, and out of Tennessee from 2011 for resisting arrest, 2012 aggravated robbery, Also 2012 driving while license suspended and 2021 assault conviction. Those are out of Tennessee and nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor, my apologies. Which position is this?
This is position number 6, Mr. Easter.
Okay, I thought so. I just wanted to make sure I was correct. Okay, so in regards to Mr. Easter, Your Honor, just pull up his case really quickly. This incident happened at the Cortland at Armour Yards, which is located at 415 Armour Drive Northeast in Atlanta. We are asking for a stay away from that address due to the fact that the defendant did not have permission to be in residence at that location. Officers had responded to that location on August 2nd of 2025 and spoke with Officer Almonds and Wakia Moore, who were both the courtesy officer and the property manager, who stated there was a defendant who had been breaking and entering into vacant units and sleeping in units when he was not, in fact, supposed to be. Officers were then told about, the property manager tried to open the door and try to use the key to unlock the door. However, there was another bolt blocking entry from inside the apartment. Atlanta Fire and Rescue actually had to be called out, and they were able to breach the door, and officers went inside and located another locked door. The defendant then opened that door, and officers placed him into custody. While searching his person, they found 2 needles. The Miss Moore, who is the property manager, stated this had been going on for about 4 weeks at the time. The state's recommendation on this case is a $500 surety bond, stay away from Cortland at Armour Yards, located at 415 Armour Drive Northeast in Atlanta, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a social worker visit. The request for a surety bond was mainly due to his lengthy multi-state history outside of the state. As recently as, I believe, 2024, the defendant, we believe, does not have sufficient ties with the community. He is currently unhoused, but the unhoused situation is not our concern other than to recommend a social worker visit. It's more the fact that he was going into apartments for the last 4 weeks without permission, and additionally has a multi-state history, which we believe will cause him not to come back if called for court, and he has a likelihood of reoffending. That's all for the state.
Thank you, Mr. Burns.
Yes, Mr. Easter is 40 years old. Your Honor, I have good phone number and email address. He did come here from St. Louis. He came for a fresh start. He didn't just pick Atlanta off a map. His family does live here, including his aunt and cousins. He did struggle to connect with them once he arrived. I'm happy to have a social worker meet with him and see if we can connect him to family and any services. He is planning on staying in the area. Again, he came here for a fresh start. He does believe he has a friend in East Point. He doesn't know the exact address, but a friend, Eric, that he can stay with. Judge, at this point in time, he can't afford any monetary bond, so I just asked for a signature bond through pretrial, and he's clear not to return to that location.
Okay. Mr. Dodos, I'm just concerned that if he had a place to reside, that he would have been residing there. I think what I want to do with Mr. Easter is I want to put him on the August 12th, my August 12th SAP calendar, so I won't make him wait for 2 weeks. But I want to make sure that he has a place to reside. So I want him to have a social worker visit. If he doesn't, to assist with that. If he does, and you can confirm that, you can have somebody at that SAP calendar. I'll certainly take another look at this bond if that's what you all choose for me to do. But for now, it will be a $500 good bond, stay away from the incident location, social worker visit to assist with housing if necessary, placed on the August 12th SAP calendar, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Judge. I'll send an email out shortly.
I appreciate it. Good luck to you, Mr. Easter. And Mr. Dodos, if after court, he seems to be in some consternation. If you'll talk to him and let him know that of what my concerns are, and that I'll see him back earlier than I normally would. Okay.
Understood.
Okay, thank you. Courtroom 2, Mr. Dotis is gonna talk to him after court.
Mr. Easter, I'll give you a call after court and we'll talk.
Sit back here. Come back here, come on. Next is position 9, the Gamboa.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gamboa. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004391J with 2 counts of simple battery, family violence, simple battery, and public drunk. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
No, Your Honor, first arrest.
Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This happened August 3rd, 2025 at about 1:43 in the morning. Officers were at 565 Main Street Northeast in Atlanta and saw the defendant inside a white color BMW. He was in a physical altercation with his wife, Miss Gamboa, and her friend, Miss Sekun, who was driving the car. The officer observed the defendant striking Miss Sekun from the back seat of the vehicle, striking her head and neck while she was operating the vehicle. The defendant was also seen striking Miss Gamboa in the head and the neck and kicking the back seat of her seat, forcibly causing her to hit her body against the dashboard. When officers went to detain the defendant, he was slurring, smelled of a strong odor of alcohol coming from his person, and he also was engaging in loud verbal and unbecoming language with his wife, who he was arguing with while this incident was occurring. We did have a chance to speak with Miss Gamboa. She stated that they are married, live together, and they share no children. He got upset about another individual. The defendant got upset about another individual bumping him and was kicked out of the club for his behavior. They were trying to get the defendant into the car and leave when he began hitting their seats where she and her friend were sitting. Miss Gamboa stated nothing like this has ever happened before, and she does want contact. We also spoke to Miss Sekun, who is the friend of Miss Gamboa, and she stated the defendant was hitting the car seats, and she claims she was never hit by the defendant. He was just hitting the car seats, although the officer did observe the defendant hitting her. We are agreeable due to the fact he has no history to an SOB through pretrial services level 1, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no further violent contact with Parita Gamboa or Gerby Sekun, 2-day anger awareness. We'd also ask for random screens, being that this is apparently alcohol related. We would like to sound from Ms. Gamboa and Ms. Sekun at this time. That's all for the state.
Ms. Sekun, your opportunity to do so. I'll need for you to unmute yourself and activate your camera if you choose to address the board. Yes, let me go to, is this Miss Gamboa here?
Yes, this is.
Okay, if you'll raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I would like to tell the court, first of all, that I'm his wife. I also clarify that my friend and I were not harmed that night. Yes, he was kicking the chair back and forth. I would never stay with a man that would touch my friend, any woman at that. He's a good man. He's a hard worker. He would never physically harm anybody. He was just angry, intoxicated. It blew out of proportion. This is completely out of character. He's a family man. He supports me. I actually moved out here to be with him. It was just one of those nights with the drinking involved. I know I might not be able to ask this, but I just respectfully ask the court to consider releasing him, and I would like to be in contact with him. And if there's anything like classes or whatever he has to do, I will make sure that he follows all of that. I see him. I know he has regret, like it, for whatever, being angry at the club because someone brushed him. The security was dragging him. He doesn't like that. The cops were trying to get him in the car. Um, so yeah.
Okay, thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Gamboa. Ms. Sekon, if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to unmute yourself. Raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am.
Yes,
Do
Your
you
Honor.
swear, do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I would like to address the court that my brother-in-law is a very, very good individual. He's a hardworking man, as my best friend has stated. I have drove from Canada to Atlanta to visit my best friend. I have met with Manuel a couple of times beforehand. She is completely right when she says that this was just one of those nights where he drank alcohol. He has never hit her. He has never spoke to her in an aggressive tone. And, speaking to him now and on the phone while watching him and observe, he does find guilt, and he's just a man that would never do something like that ever again. And he's just not that type of person. And I do agree, and I was fully sober. He did not hit me. He did not hit my best friend. Because if he did hit my best friend, I would just let this slide and let the justice system do what they need to do. But in this case, he did not hit me. He was just pushing the car seat back and forth. Now, my car is a two-door, Your Honor. There, it's tinted. You can't really see as much. The only thing that happened was when we got outside, I know he was slurring and whatnot. He was drunk. But again, I do see that he's accountable for his actions. But he did not hit me. I did not get hit on the back of my head, my neck, any of that, like at all.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Dotis?
Yes, Judge. My client is 27 years old. This is his first cycle. We've got good contact information. He has the support of his family, both alleged victim, both alleged victims, as we heard, Your Honor, they say that this was a one-time incident, completely out of character. And additionally, they're refuting what the officers are saying in the warrant, saying that he was just hitting the car seats, that no one was physically in fear or physically assaulted. Your Honor, I would just ask for a signature bond. If it needs to be through pretrial, I'd ask it to be through level 1 and perhaps a 1-day anger awareness course. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, but based on the history and the fact that this is an isolated incident, I don't think that random screens are necessary in this case.
Okay, nothing further. For each charge will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 5 days of anger awareness, no further violent contact with either of the alleged victims, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Next is 13, Mr. Hendricks.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hendricks. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004403A with battery, family violence, simple battery, family violence, and disorderly conduct. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
First arrest, Your Honor.
Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened at 4995 Old National Highway in College Park. Officers went to that location, which was a Waffle House, in response to a shooting. Officers spoke with Dominique Hendricks, who was there. She stated to the officers that she and her husband, the defendant, were in the parking lot arguing who was going to drive home. They were going back and forth over the keys. She continued to state she refused to let him drive because he was under the influence at the time. And then he punched her in the face with his fist, striking her left eye, which caused visible bruising and swelling to her face that the officers were able to observe. She also stated that during the tussle, he grabbed her by the neck and was able to take the keys from her. And during that time, the security guard came outside from the restaurant to assist her. And they began arguing, the security guard and the defendant began arguing. And then at some point, both the security guard and the defendant pulled firearms and started shooting at each other. Mind you, this was all happening outside of the Waffle House on a Sunday on a Saturday night at 1 a.m. Officers then spoke with Darwin Watson, who was the security guard, and he did state that the defendant was outside fighting Miss Hendricks, putting her in a chokehold and beating her. And again, officers did observe the swelling and bruising as well as the security officer. I will say this case is still under investigation in regards to the shooting. So we anticipate there may be additional charges to come. We did speak with Miss Hendricks. She stated they are married and live together and share 2 children, and he was drunk. She did not want him to drive. So she essentially confirmed the events in the warrant. She also stated she doesn't recall him grabbing her by the neck, even though the security guard did say he observed that. And she wants to continue contact. However, the state is concerned. This literally happened at 1 a.m. yesterday. We are going to ask for a $5,000 surety bond, no further contact with Dominique Hendricks, stay away from the Waffle House at 4995 Old National Highway in College Park, stay away from Derwin, no further contact with Derwin Watson, who is the security guard at that location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And we're asking that the defendant surrender all firearms to Fulton County Sheriff's Office. The state's, I do understand the defendant does not have a history, but the state's real concern here is that there was not only violence, domestic violence against our victim, but that a security guard came out to intervene and it resulted in gunfire outside of a restaurant. And that's extremely problematic. That's all for the state. We would like to sound from Ms. Dominique Hendricks.
Or Mr. Watson, if either on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity. Okay, if she is with us, it appears that she does not wish to address the court. Mr. Dotis?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Hendricks is 35 years old. This is his first cycle. I have good contact with him. He does have the support of his father in the area, as well as his wife, and who is an alleged victim in this case, Dominique. Together, they have 2 children, a 7-year-old and a 6-year-old, in which Mr. Hendricks is the primary breadwinner. He currently works at Third Flag, where he's a trainer and supervisor for a Chef Supply kitchen warehouse. Your Honor, I spoke with Dominique earlier. She 100%, in her words, wanted contact with Mr. Hendricks. Says something like this has never happened before, and has concerns with exactly how certain allegations are written in the warrant. Judge, he's fine with a stay away from the Waffle House and no further contact with the security guard. I don't think he has any reason to know that individual. But we would ask for no further violent contact so he can go back and provide for his family. We would also ask for a signature bond with whatever conditions, classes or conditions that this court deems appropriate to ensure the safety of the community.
Okay. For the battery family violence, will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For each of the other charges, will be a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 2. Stay away from the Waffle House on Old National Highway. No further contact with Mr. Watson. At this time, given that it's only been less than a day since this allegedly happened, no further contact with Ms. Hendricks. Stay away from her residence. He can go back to that residence on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. Third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation. Relinquish all firearms. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hendricks.
Next is position 20, Mr. Langford.
Good afternoon, Mr. Langford. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004392E with no insurance, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, fleeing or attempting to elude police officer, hit and run, driving without a valid license, a seatbelt violation, and failure to obey signs or control devices. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor, 12 cycles. Last arrest was December 6, 2022 for a probation violation out of Pulte County. There are convictions from 2008 for possession of cocaine, 2011 interference with government property, 2018 disorderly conduct, and 2019 false imprisonment and battery conviction, and nothing further.
Mr. Sawaka?
Yes, Judge. So this incident took place. This was back from the second, or just 2 days ago. Officer had found himself behind the defendant. This was in the area of Northside Drive, Atlanta. Ultimately, the officer was behind the defendant. GCIC check of the plate of the vehicle the defendant was driving it revealed that that vehicle was uninsured. Officer attempted to initiate a traffic stop. The defendant, pulled into a lot before then proceeding to pull out and travel down the north side drive at a high rate of speed. Dispatch was notified, but the officer had lost sight of the defendant's vehicle. When the officer went down the street, the officer discovered the defendant's vehicle had been in a two-vehicle collision. The defendant was observed getting out of his vehicle and fleeing despite the officer's verbal commands to stop. He left, didn't exchange information or anything with the other passengers of the other vehicle, and he continued to run. During flight, he threw a bag with unknown contents over a fence. That was not recovered. The defendant was ultimately arrested, and contact was made with the vehicle's other driver and passenger. It's Mr. Kasim Richards and Arkeen Davis. That vehicle sustained significant damage, and those two were taken to Grady. This is very dangerous behavior. Very much so. We are actually seeking a felony transfer for this case, given the circumstances of the fleeing and eluding and striking of the other vehicle. So this defendant poses a risk of to our community writ large with this sort of behavior, and his criminal history is nothing to be admired here. So state's seeking a $4,000 I guess it would be a split bond, $4,000 surety on $2,000 on the fleeing and eluding, $2,000 on the hit and run, and signature bonds with respect to the remaining counts here. No driving without a valid license and insurance, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, he's 37 years old, went through the 12th grade. I believe that may have been a graduation, certainly close enough. Here locally, he has been a resurfacing technician, resurfacing cabinetry, tubs, tiles, that sort of surface in the last 8 years. Under these circumstances, we would ask the court to consider. Oh, by the way, he's completely local. He lives in downtown Atlanta. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond if possible.
Okay, for the willful obstruction, $500 good bond. The fleeing, $500 good bond. Hit and run, $500 good bond. For each of the other 4 charges, a $250 good bond. That makes for a total of a $2,500 good bond. No driving without valid documentation. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Langford.
Next is position 28, Mr. Shorter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shorter. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004404J with 2 counts of simple battery against a person who is 65 years or older or who was pregnant at the time of the offense, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. History is out of Texas. The last arrest was June 28, 2018, out of Texas for criminal mischief. There is a conviction from 2010 out of Texas for giving false information, and nothing further.
Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. So this incident took place August 2nd of this year. This was at 708 Marsh Trail Circle in Sandy Springs. Law enforcement responded to a domestic incident, and upon arrival spoke with the victim here, Miss Kanaya Dobbs. She explained that she is pregnant with the defendant's child, though they don't live together. The defendant will spend nights with her. The defendant showed up to her residence the night before the incident, had spent the night, and then the next morning had gotten upset with her over statements she made regarding genetic testing with respect to the pregnancy. He then proceeded to strike her twice in the face and pushed her into the kitchen door, hard enough such that it damaged that door. Officers took photos of the damage to the door, and as well, there were injuries to her face that the officers took pictures of also, but they weren't described. So that's why these are simple batteries before Your Honor at this stage in the case. We have spoken with the victim. She confirmed they are in a relationship. She states they live together at the incident location, which is not what it states in the warrant. She confirmed she is currently pregnant with twins by the defendant. She's roughly 13 weeks along here. And yes, she confirmed the events in the warrant. And she stated that the defendant has been violent in the past with her, but this is the first time police have been called. Nonetheless, she states she's not in fear of the defendant and wants him to return. We do take issue with that, given the report of previous violence by the defendant against her in the past. And also, I see as well, it's an older case in Texas, but 2009 there was an assault, bodily injury to a family member that was dismissed. So another family violence case in his repertoire here. Given risk of reoffense here and his apparent lack of social ties, it seems like he didn't start living here until, was it 6, 7 years ago? In that previous case, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 total surety, $1,500 on the simple battery against a pregnant person, $500 on the remaining counts, for the defendant to complete FIB, have no further contact with Miss Kanaya Dobbs, stay away from the location, which is the victim's residence, 708 Marsh Trail Circle in Sandy Springs, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And we do at this time want a sound from Miss Dobbs.
Ms. Dobbs is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. I will need for you to unmute yourself there. Dobbs. I think she dropped off. Mr. McLean?
She's on here, Judge.
Oh,
Yep.
She's having problems, I guess, connecting her auto.
can you unmute yourself for me, Ms. Dobbs?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you now. You'll raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
So me and Brandon do live together. I need Brandon at home. I'm 13 weeks pregnant. I have not been working. I've been in and out the hospital. Brandon has been providing for me. I live in Atlanta by myself. So Brandon do live with me. He have a key. He come and go as he please. Brandon is not a bad person. When I stated that we had altercations in the past, I felt like I recently provoked Brandon. When we do have altercations, I'm not getting slapped. The most is Brandon is getting me out of his face because I'm unintentionally provoking Brandon. In the midst of the situation that occurred Saturday, I felt like I provoked Brandon unintentionally by talking about his family. Brandon stated about my weight that it give crackhead. And I said, yo mama, that affects Brandon, that hurt Brandon because I know what to say to hurt him because I was hurt in the moment. You talked about me, so I talked about his mom. And I said, that's why we need genetic testing because you're not all the way right in the head due to the attitude I felt like he had early in the day. Brandon was walking away and was trying to leave the apartment. He was taking too long for me, and as I'm pregnant, my hormones just all over the place, so I kept talking. Brandon came over to me and said, "What did you say?" And I'm still talking. He was like, and he hit me twice. The door in the kitchen was already broke. It's a wood cheap door, so if anybody get pushed, if anything fall into it, it's gonna break. So that's why that door was broke like that. I got scammed this morning out of $1,600 because a fake bondsman contacted me in regards of Brandon Bond. Took all my money, $1,600. They act like they knew Brandon charges. I don't know how they get my number, but yes, they took all of my money because me thinking that I'm paying Brandon Bond to get out. Brandon needs to be home. Brandon has a job he needs to go to. Brandon is a good person. I don't know what happened in Texas. I met Brandon over a year ago. Brandon has been living with me, has a key. He does not put me in any harm. Brandon supports me. Brandon has an active father, active mom. His sisters' numbers, they also in on like what's going on. And his father trying to get in contact with him. And I'm currently in Chicago right now just to stay at home with my mom until Brandon get released because I can't be at home by myself because I need Brandon. I'm pregnant. I'm emotional. Like, I need Brandon to come home. They took all of my money earlier. So if we can have some type of leniency towards the bond, like, I need Brandon to get out today. I hope he can hear me because I'm upset. I'm going through a lot. They took my money. It's just, I'm mad. I'm sorry that I put him through this. I even contacted my daddy in the midst of it, and I wish I never contacted the police. I wish I could have just contacted my daddy to start with because I don't think Brandon meant that. It was a mistake. I provoked him. He don't hit me. Brandon never hit me, and I always tell him like, you know, you don't hit me when I say the stuff that I say. Not saying I deserve to be hit or not excusing him from hitting me because he was wrong, but I don't think he meant that. I need him to come home. He don't scare me at all. If Brandon could get out today, I would hop on the road right now and come get him. Can y'all please just be lenient with us? He needs to come home. He on child support. He got other kids. He got to take care of his kids. I contacted his job for him, and we expecting him to go to work tomorrow, but please, like, anything could help right now. I am pregnant with twins, 23 years old. I work as a medical assistant. I have not been at work because I have been sick. Brandon take care of me. Brandon support me. Brandon goes to work. Brandon don't do nothing to hurt me. I promise. I called because my emotions was everywhere. We've been together for over a year. Brandon don't hit me. I wish I never called because I felt like it wasn't that serious. It was not that serious. Like, can y'all please just release him today?
Ms. Dobbs, based on what you're telling me, both you and Mr. Shorter, you need to get some help. I'm not going to allow, based on what you're telling me, I'm not going to allow him to be around you or you to be around him at this point in time until you get some help. Okay? And from what you're telling me, it doesn't sound like you've gotten any help, but you need some help, Ms. Dobbs. Okay? So I appreciate you being here this afternoon, and I wish you all the best on your pregnancy, ma'am.
Also, I don't know what anything mean as far as like bonds and the words y'all using, good bond. I don't understand that. Cause someone called me afterwards and let me know like what we need to do.
Okay, I'll have a solicitor call you, given that you're the alleged victim in the case, so that they can explain whatever it is that they need to explain to you, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, this is a major scandal. This scamming has been going on constantly, and it's hit our clients. I'm sure the solicitor's office has heard several instances of it as well. It's a shame. Your Honor, Mr. Shorter is 36 years old. He was born in Colorado. He did live in Texas for a while. He has been in Georgia for years. High school education and a year of college. In Georgia, he has worked with his CDL. He has worked locally as a truck driver, and even in his previous state of Texas, when he worked there, he was local. So he stays put. He's not running all over the country. We would ask the court to consider a bond if possible, or the lowest possible surety bond if not.
Okay. For each charge will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of an $8,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 10 days of anger awareness. At this point in time, no further contact with Ms. Dobbs. Stay away from her residential address. If need be, he can go back to that address with law enforcement on one occasion to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Next is position 34, Mr. Yarbrough.
Good afternoon, Mr. Yarbrough. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004414B with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
6 cycles. The last arrest was in 2013 out of Ackworth, Georgia, for driving while license suspended or revoked, and nothing further.
Mrs. Rocco?
Thank you, Judge. Law enforcement responded to, it was a domestic disturbance call at 363 Heritage Lane in Alpharetta. That is the property of David and Dartha Waters. They explained to officers that they allow Miss Dartha's son, and Dartha's the victim here, the defendant, to stay in the home with his children there. They explained to officers that the defendant had started cursing and getting in the face of the mother over an issue with the children, his children, trying to provoke a physical altercation with his mom. He then pushed the victim backwards before punching the victim's large refrigerator there, damaging it. The incident date here was December 8th of 2024. So this is a delayed arrest here. The 2 juvenile children of the defendant were present, it was heard. The altercation was heard by the children, so they were in the home at the time. The state's recommendation here, given what the victim and her husband explained to the officers on scene, which was that the defendant has an issue with substance abuse and also has a violent temper, and with this incident. So we are recommending a signature bond through pretrial services, a 2-day anger awareness for the defendant to undergo ADET, have no further contact with Dartha Waters, stay away from 362 Heritage Lane in Alpharetta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. We have not been able to reach Miss Dartha Waters or her husband David with respect to this, but we would ask that the court sound for them when appropriate. That is all for the state.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sirocco. Did you say that Mr. Yarbrough resides at the Heritage Lane address?
So Specifically, it states that they allow him to stay in the home with his two children. It sounds like they were all living there, at least as of December 8th, 2024.
Okay. Thank you. If David or Dorothy or Waters, if either of you are with us and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity. Mr. McLean?
No objection, Your Honor. He does work construction. He is 44 years old, and I'm not sure of the current living situation. It is a delayed arrest. I've been trying to get hold of his brother to no avail. I've tried a 2387 number to no avail to find out if anybody knows his brother's cell number instead of just work number, and that's probably the victim. I've not been able to reach anybody, but we would enter bond as well.
So maybe you can, does he need to go back to that Heritage Lane address? I'll put that in the order if he needs to go back there to retrieve any belongings, but if not, then I won't.
I was under the impression that he still has been there because this was last December, and I think his stuff is there. We can ask him directly. I think it'd be all right. Mr. Yarborough?
Yes, sir.
Are your children still living there?
Yes, sir.
Are you still living there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I should have added, Judge, there, I mean, it is an older history, but it is consistent with what they were saying with respect to substance abuse issues. I saw several DUI cases that they're older, but that is consistent with what we heard from the victims here, or the police did on the day of.
How old are the children? Mr. McLean, do you know?
I don't. Mr. Yarborough, would you state the names of, excuse me, not the names, the ages of your children?
If that didn't pick up, from the warrant, it does state that both juveniles are under the age of 10.
Okay. All right. Given the age of the case, and it appears that the Waters are allowing him to live there, and because there are children involved, I'm not going to displace him and his children at this time, given that given the age of the case. For the simple battery, will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 2 days of anger awareness, no further violent contact with the Waters, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. I won't require him to do the ADET, but I will require him to have random screens of drugs and alcohol. Good luck to you, Mr. Yarborough. You're welcome.
Back, Your Honor.
Okay. Yes, Officer Milton.
Position number 10, Ms. Ganzi.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Gamzee. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004394A with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. First arrest. I'm sorry. No, Your Honor. First arrest.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened on August 3rd at 960 Constitution Road in Atlanta. Officers were called out and spoke with Michael Carter, who stated he was in a physical altercation with his stepdaughter, the defendant. He stated that he went into the kitchen while his stepdaughter was sitting on the couch and essentially said to her he doesn't understand why she's not paying rent. She cursed at him, words were exchanged, and then she struck him with an open hand on the right side of his face, hitting his eye. His wife, Miss Rebecca Carter, witnessed the incident. She stated that she heard them arguing, attempted to stop and calm down one of them, but wasn't able to. And she did say she saw the defendant get into Mr. Carter's face and strike him with an open hand to the side of his face. Officers did place the defendant under arrest as a result of this. And Mr. Carter did say it has been an ongoing issue between the two of them, but it had never gotten physical until that day. We are agreeable to an SOB through pretrial services level 1 due to her complete lack of history. No further contact with Mr. Michael Carter. Stay away from Constitution Apartments at 960 Constitution Road. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, in 2 days of anger awareness. We would like to sound at this time for Mr. Michael Carter, who's the victim in this case. That's all for the state.
Mr. Carter is on the line. I wish to address the court now. Opportunity. Mr. Dotis.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Gansey is 37 years old. This is her first cycle. I have good contact information for her. She is a lifetime resident of Atlanta. Ms. Falk may have mentioned this, but she, in the warrant and speaking with her, it's clear that she was preparing to move out of the home. It was supposed to be in the next couple of days, but she tells me upon release, she will be at her new address. And I've let her know that she needs to update the court as soon as she has that address. I know it's in McDonough, Georgia. She's clear on what she needs to do to make sure she gets notice moving forward. But she does plan on living there along with her 12-year-old son. She has a good job at Sprouts Farmers Market, where she's hoping to continue working. She had hoped to be able to work things out, but she's clear that there needs to be a cooling off period with her stepfather. We would just ask for agree with the state regarding the signature bond through pretrial.
$2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 2 days of anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Carter, stay away from the incident location. If need be, she can go back to that location on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Next is position 11, Mr. Gill.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gill. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004397Y with 2 counts of criminal trespass and simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
2 cycles. Last arrest was May 1st, 2024 out of Alpharetta, Georgia for reckless conduct, simple battery, and battery. There is a 2023 conviction for misdemeanor theft by taking, and nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Falk. You are on mute, Ms. Falk.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officers went to 2258 Tenor Lane in Alpharetta on August 3rd of this year. They spoke with Cherry Stoney, who stated that she had taken her car to the gas station, and when she returned, she could smell the odor of marijuana in her home. She told the defendant, who is her son, to stop smoking in the house, which caused him to, as she described it, have an episode. He punched a hole in the wall. Also, while she started vacuuming up the debris from him punching a hole in the wall, picked up the cord from the vacuum, held it in his hands, and pushed her against the front door with one hand on each of her shoulders and the vacuum cord pressing against her chest. That broke the blinds on the door, and he continued to say, you want to choke me, you want to choke me, and then dropped the cord and left the house. Officers went outside, spoke with the defendant, and he did state that when Miss Stoney came inside, she asked him if he was smoking. He said no. There was a verbal argument, and he stated that he stepped on the vacuum. The cord was wrapped around him. She stumbled and grabbed the cord, which was around his neck, and then he grabbed her by the shoulders and pushed her backwards at that point. So he did admit to pushing her. He also admitted to punching a hole in the wall during the argument, saying he didn't want to hit her and punched the wall instead. Officers did see the hole in the wall and the broken blinds. The main issue here, Your Honor, is there was a previous case involving the same defendant and Miss Stoney, his mother. That's 24 CR 002695F. It was a case that involved simple battery family violence against a different family member and reckless conduct against Miss Stoney, where it was alleged he pointed a knife at her. In that case, he completed pretrial diversion on June 3rd of 2025, and within 2 months of that incident, we have this new case. So that previous case was null prost because he completed pretrial diversion and did not have any prior history, but then 2 months after it was null prost, this pops back up. So we do have some serious concerns about them continuing to live together. We did speak with Miss Stoney. She says she is his mother. They live together at that location. This has been an ongoing issue for about 2 years. She says there is some MH issues. She currently does not want contact with him and wants him to stay away from the residence. And she stated that her father is planning to file an eviction on him. She does not wish to attend the Zoom today. We are asking for a $4,000 surety bond, $2,000 on the simple battery, $1,000 on each of the criminal trespass counts. No further contact with Cherry Stoney. Stay away from 2258 Tenor Lane in Alpharetta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We're also requesting a social worker visit for BHET. That's all for the state.
Thank you. Just in case if Ms. Cherry Stoney is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Mr. Dotis?
Thank you, Judge. And Mr. Gale, I do see your hand. Mr. Gale, I'm happy to speak with you after court. You're more than welcome to give me a call. But for now, just let me speak on your behalf. Judge, Mr. Gale is 21 years old. As we heard, he has 2 cycles. He successfully completed diversion with his last cycle. He is a lifelong resident in the Atlanta area. He was living at the incident location, but after speaking with him as well as his sister Brianna, it sounds like while we don't have an address, he has some friends that he believes he can stay with, so that he can have a cooling off period away from the incident location. And while the sister does also, my understanding is, live at that incident location, she's going to do her best to continue supporting Mr. Gill. He is a high school graduate. He was up in Maryland before coming down to Atlanta. He currently works for Best Deal Movers, where he's hoping that job is still waiting for him. After speaking with him and reading the warrant, we do refute the allegations, especially with regard to the vacuum cord, but that's a conversation that me and Mr. Gill are clear on will be continued after today. Judge, I'm asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. If a signature bond is not available, I'll have a social worker visit him for our next steps. But my understanding is Mr. Gill cannot afford a monetary bond at this time.
Okay. For each charge will be a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $1,500 good bond. A social worker visit to assess for BHET and possible housing issues. No further contact with Ms. Stoney. Stay away from the incident location. He can go back to that location on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. Dotis, I'm mostly concerned that he does not possibly have a place to stay. If you can confirm that he will have a place to stay when he's on the SAP calendar, I'm certainly will look back at this bond for modification, but I'm concerned that he doesn't have a place to stay at the present time.
Understood, Judge. I'll make sure I pass on my notes so we're not.
Thank you. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Gill.
Next, we have position 22, Ms. Lewis.
Good afternoon, Ms. Lewis. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004395A with battery family violence and simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
35 cycles. The last arrest was out of Cobb County for a failure to appear November 17th, 2023. There does appear to be an open case out of Fayetteville for robbery from March 1st, 2023. There are convictions from 2008 for possession of cocaine, 2016 disorderly conduct, 2016 criminal trespass, 2018 criminal trespass, 2023 theft by shoplifting, 2 additional FTAs from 2018 and appears to be a hold out of Cobb County, and nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you. And I do want to supplement. I see pled nolo in 2021 to battery substantial physical harm. That was a different victim. I'll return to history briefly in a second, but this incident took place March 16th of this year at 426 Sunset Avenue. That's in Atlanta. It was between the victim and that's Miss Gail Santinelli, and the defendant, who is the daughter of the defendant is the victim's daughter. Ms. Santinelli explained to police that the defendant shoved herself into the front door of her residence. They had gotten into a verbal altercation, and there was a point where the victim saw her grandchild screaming and crying, with the defendant cornering him and hitting him on the back. Miss Santelli tried to intervene, at which point the defendant had grabbed a set of keys and struck her near her right eye with the keys before fleeing on foot. Victim sustained a bruise to her face as a result of that. I should note as well, SVU also arrived on scene and did find a laceration and marks on the child's back, but it was their determination that those injuries were sustained from something prior to this incident, which is concerning. We've spoken with the victim here. She confirmed she is the defendant's mother. They don't live together, and she herself has custody of the defendant's children. She explained that they were in an argument and trying to get the defendant out of her home because she did not like the way the defendant was interacting with one of the boys, one of her grandsons. The victim stated that she was struck in the face by the defendant. She does say she doesn't know if it was intentional. She stated this is the first time this has happened, and that they haven't been in contact since, and everything has been good. She wants to continue contact with her and is okay with the defendant coming to the residence to visit the children. I don't believe she is able to attend the Zoom today. We do want to sound for her in accordance with Marcy's law if she is able to make it on. I want to note as well that in addition to that NOLO from 2021 for the battery substantial physical harm, there's an FTA. There was an FTA from 2023, and she FTA'd on January 7th of this year. It was before Judge Mather. It was on an open criminal trespass damage to property case. That's 24 CR 006301G, where she got upset over a financial dispute and broke the victim's window. So it's clear she has some anger issues here. She needs to work through those. We are recommending, given her history here and that NOLO from 2021, and the facts alleged, that she, excuse me, it'd be a total of $4,000 surety, $3,000 surety on the battery family violence, $1,000 on the simple battery family violence, for the defendant to undergo FIB, have no further violent contact with Miss, I should be saying this right. Yeah, that's Miss Santelli. I keep saying Santinelli. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And we do, as I stated, want to sound for Miss Santelli.
Ms. Santelli's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Is this Mr. Doda? Who's
Judge?
Okay,
Mr. McClain.
is-
I lost my connection, Your Honor, so I came to Mr. Dotis's office.
Oh, okay, very good. Yes.
Let's see. Your Honor, she is 47, has worked in logistics. She does have that Cobb County hold. She's got an 11th grade education. She asked the court to consider the lowest possible bond, including a signature that is possible. But if not, then she's asking the court to consider $1,000.
For the battery, it will be $1,500 good bond. For the simple battery, a $500 good bond makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No further violent contact with Miss Santelli. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Miss Lewis.
more after this, Your Honor, which is Span.
Say it again.
I think I only have one other case, which is Span plus one presence waived on Parks.
Okay. Who do we have next?
Next is position 14, Mr. Jackson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jackson. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004405Y with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. Last arrest was July 1st, 2025 out of East Point, Georgia for willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Sentenced on that case under 25 CR 0033-722Y, July 15th to 12 months probation. Also was sentenced under 25 CR 002297Y for theft by shoplifting, May 15th, 2025 to 12 months. There's an additional conviction from 2024 for theft by shoplifting and 2 FTAs from 2024 as well, Your Honor, and nothing further.
Yes, Ms. Paul.
Yes, Your Honor. This happened at the courtyard by Marriott at 3400 Creek Point Drive in East Point. Officers were called out because the defendant refused to leave the property. Miss Nadia Matthews stated the defendant had been observed at that location since the morning of August 1st, 2025. She stated he was laying outside by the swimming pool, appearing to be asleep. He was asked to identify himself. He refused, continued to try to leave. The officers blocked, asked him to identify himself again, which he refused to do. The defendant did have a previous criminal trespass from that location in 2024. And so that's why he was arrested for criminal trespass. As you've already heard, the defendant does have a history as recently as July of this year with us. We would ask that the $2,500 surety bond be reduced to a $500 surety bond. Stay away from the courtyard by Marriott, located at 3400 Creek Point Drive in East Point. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We're also asking for a social worker visit for housing. That's all for the state.
Mr. Jackson is 26 years old, lifelong resident of Atlanta. Judge, he wasn't able to give me a specific address, but he is hoping that he can stay with his parents. Your Honor, at this point in time, he can't afford a monetary bond, so I will be asking for a signature bond or the lowest possible bond. If he's reset on an SAP calendar, I'll have a social worker go out and visit him and see if we can get him some help.
Okay. A $500 good bond, social worker visit to assist with the housing, stay away from that courtyard by Marriott, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. And Ms. Glenn, that was position number 14, Mr. Jackson. Okay, thank you. Good luck to you, sir.
Next, we have position 30, Ms. Span.
Good afternoon, Ms. Span. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004408E with driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, driving under the influence of drugs, driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs, improper erratic lane change, and unlawful to possess, display, or use any false, fraudulent, altered identification documents. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
No, Your Honor. First arrest.
Mr. Sirocco?
Yes, Judge. So this was from 2 days ago. It was August 2nd. Law enforcement responded to a single vehicle motor vehicle accident and found a vehicle on the side of Azalea Drive in Roswell. The airbags were deployed. There was damage to the passenger side of the vehicle, where it collided with a roadside and the guardrail there. Officer made contact with the driver, identified as the defendant, who stated she was making a navigating a left-hand curve. She claimed brake failure, causing her to drive off the roadway and strike a road sign and guardrail. However, while speaking with the defendant, the officer noted an odor of alcoholic beverage coming from her breath. Saw that she had a suede gait. She initially denied drinking alcohol, but then contradicted that. She admitted she had consumed alcohol earlier in the day. She underwent field sobriety testing, which revealed 6 out of 6 clues on the HGN, 4 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and 3 out of 4 on the one leg stand. She also registered positive on the Alka sensor. She was placed under arrest and did consent to give a breath sample, though we don't have those results at this time. Um, a search incident to arrest revealed I believe it's a vape pen. THCA was in it that converts it to THC, which is a psychoactive drug. She admitted to smoking that prior to the incident here. And just as well, the ID that she had on her person, it reflected a false date of birth. Her actual birth date is from 2004, but the one on the ID falsely reflected that she was born in 2001. So that is the basis for that false altered document charge. She was ultimately transported, and then I believe it says blood was drawn for testing. In any case here, this is dangerous behavior. I went through I actually looked this up. It is the location of where this happened is a very minute, is like a small stretch of road away from a shopping center downtown, shopping hub downtown Roswell. Uh, Someone could have been hurt or killed from the defendant's behavior here. We take that seriously. So the state's recommendation here is it's a split bond. We're requesting 2,000 surety on the less safe alcohol and drugs signature bond for the remaining charges for the defendant to undergo an alcohol and drug evaluation and treatment, if recommended, random screens for drugs and alcohol. Given the defendant's age, we are asking for a curfew to be set at the court's discretion, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. That's all for the state.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, thank you. She's gone through high school and has had some college. She's been studying poli-sci in college. She has not completed her degree yet. She works in restaurants and she has done retail work as well. Under these circumstances, with being the first arrest, we would ask the court to consider a signature bond.
Okay, for the DUI, alcohol and drugs will be $1,000 good bond. For each of the other charges will be a $500 good bond. Makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am. Okay, we done at ACDC?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, see you next time.
Okay.
Who do we have in courtroom 2?
Judge, you said that was a $3,000 good bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Next is position 16, Mr. Jones.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Jones. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004409G with 2 counts of simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 17 total. Last arrest April 4th, 2025, out of Atlanta for purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and sale of marijuana. That's on the 25, case number 25 PI 003244. There are convictions from 2002 for forgery, driving while license suspended, 2003 driving while license suspended and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, and 2012 conviction for driving while license suspended. And nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened on, just a moment, on August 3rd of 2025 at 418 Lovejoy Street, Northwest in Atlanta. Officers spoke to Miss Bree Jones, who stated that the defendant, she was, according to her, she arrived in her father's neighborhood at about 1:45 to drop off her brother M. Jones' clothing, which she had purchased him since school was starting. She saw the defendant in his vehicle. She blew her horn to get his attention. And then they spoke. The defendant allowed her into his home. And then Miss Jones stated that after her father closed the door, he stated, "You've been talking all that S, but now I'm in front of you." Miss Jones stated she ignored the defendant's comments and other aggressive comments as they walked upstairs. He became more aggressive, telling her he should beat her ass, then approached her. She stated she stepped back and went for her mace and that her father mushed her in the face. And then she stated that her brother began to cry. And after that happened, the defendant grabbed the clothes that she had brought for her brother, walked downstairs and threw them outside of the apartment. And she followed her father down the stairs and grabbed her bags that were being thrown out. And as she reached for one of the bags, the defendant pushed her from behind and out of the door. She did not have any visible injuries. This was a pushing. We did have an opportunity to speak with Miss Jones. She stated that they do not live together. She is the daughter of the defendant. She confirmed the events in the warrant and also stated this is not the first time the defendant has been violent toward her, but it is the first time police have become involved. She stated she wants no contact with the defendant and she will be on the Zoom. Based upon his previous history, Your Honor, we do have concerns for a risk of reoffense. We are asking for a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 per count, no further contact with Bree Jones, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we are requesting family violence intervention program given the defendant's conduct not only in front of one of his children, but towards his other child. That's all for the state. And we would like to sound from Ms. Bree Jones.
Ms. Jones, if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity. I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down, Ms. Jones. Thank you. What would you like to tell the court?
I would like to let the court know that, like Ms. Falk stated, this is not an isolated incident. This is something that has occurred before. This is just the first time that the authorities have been involved. When I was 14 years old, Mr. Jones choked me unconscious. And when I regained consciousness, I had his handprints around my throat. My main concern is that his erratic behavior, when someone expresses their disdain or anything about his parenting, he reacts in this manner. And my main concern is that he did this in front of my 11-year-old brother. He had no regard about how it would affect him or how it would traumatize him in this situation. And I do not want my little brother to think that putting your hands on women or anyone for that matter when you do not agree with what they're saying is okay. He has a tendency to assault his children and fight his children when he becomes angry or does not agree with anything that we say. I have two younger brothers. I have a 21-year-old and I have an 11-year-old in which he assaulted me in front of. He has also tried to fight my 21-year-old brother. So this is a pattern, and Mr. Jones' behavior is erratic. He's unpredictable, and if given the opportunity to come in contact with me again, I believe he will try this again. And had I not alerted the authorities, it would have resulted in something much worse. I do not wish to have any further contact with Mr. Jones, and I would hope that the courts put something in place to protect my little brother because, like I said, he's unpredictable. And this will happen again. My little brother is 11 now, but I'm pretty sure that further on down the line, we will be revisiting this situation because he does not know how to he doesn't know how to act and he doesn't know how to conduct himself as a parent. And all of this stem from me speaking on his parenting skills. Being that I am the oldest, I am 28 years old, I feel like I can speak on firsthand on his parenting skills. And all of this stem from me telling him that he should have been starting to get my little brother's school clothes, not waiting a week before to prepare him for school when you've known all along that he had to go back to school. He could not accept the truth, and so he resulted in how he resulted. And I just believe that something should be put in place because Mr. Jones he's erratic. He's completely erratic. And due to this situation, he is dead to me, sir. I do not wish to have any contact or anything further with him. That's all. And I appreciate the courts for listening to me and hearing my side of the story.
Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Jones. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Mr. Dotis?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Jones is 50 years old. I have good contact information for him. He's a lifelong resident of Atlanta. He has a good address, which is the incident location. And I do want to read from the warrant because I think we skipped over a couple of paragraphs. My client did speak to law enforcement. And again, this did occur at his home, the incident location. He let officers know that he was in his car en route to his apartment with his son, Messiah Jones, MJ, at Lovejoy Street when he heard honking. When he looked towards the honking, he realized that it was his daughter, Miss Bree Jones, attempting to get his attention. Mr. Jones stated that he informed and texted his daughter not to come over to his apartment prior to her arrival. He did not want her there. Regardless, Bree Jones, he did when she arrived and was at his door, he did allow her into the apartment to try to avoid any conflict. She did have clothes she wanted to give to her little brother. However, unfortunately, when they got in the home, he let officers know that daughter was calling him names, insulting her. He tried to address the situation, dismiss it, concerning her hostile and disrespectful language. He asked her to leave not once, not twice, but 3 times, but she continually refused. Becoming concerned, he attempted to walk her out. He did hold her arm and tried to get her out of his home, and afraid of what she might do in his home, along with their 11-year-old son and the 21-year-old son who also lives in the home. Who my understanding is they all have a good relationship. The 3 of them. Your Honor, he absolutely refutes any of these allegations, and we look forward to getting the body-worn camera footage and finding these charges. Again, I didn't hear any, and apologies if I missed any, but I don't believe I heard any violent convictions. There were no documented injuries. My client is also clear. He wants absolutely no contact with Miss Jones, and he is clear on what he needs to do to ensure that she just stays away from his home and his family. Your Honor, we would just ask for a signature bond through pretrial, any conditions the court deems necessary, and he's fine with no further contact with Miss Jones.
For each charge will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. The Family Violence Intervention Program, no further contact with Bree Jones, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Jones. Who do we have next?
Position 29, Mr. Smith.
And Your Honor, given the defendant's history, we would like to object to a signature bond on Mr. Bryce Jones.
So noted. Thank you.
Your Honor, what position was this? My apologies.
29, Melvin Smith.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. You have been charged in case 25 CR 004406J with theft by shoplifting. It's your history, Ms. Harvey.
16 cycles. Last arrest was 2014 out of Fulton County for purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana. There's a 2012 conviction for willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and 2015 sale of marijuana, and nothing further.
Mr. Sirocco.
Thank you, Your Honor. This was from yesterday, around 4:30 p.m. It took place at 590 Cascade Avenue in Atlanta, which is the Kroger at the location. The defendant was seen concealing roughly $350 worth of groceries in his suitcase and trying to leave without paying. Oh, it states he did pay for $50 worth of groceries and kept the unpaid groceries hidden inside of the suitcase that he was carrying. Um, so state's recommendation here is going to be it's a signature bond through pretrial. He did admit to taking the stolen items here, but stated it was because he paid his rent and didn't have enough for the rest. So we would ask for a social worker visit when things come to, if this is what it comes to, we would ask for a social worker visit. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond here, and that is all for this case. Thank you.
Mr. McLean?
No objection, Your Honor.
And the social worker visit would be for what reason?
Well, it sounds if it's between paying rent and groceries here, it might be good for him to meet with a social worker visit. So maybe it might help him not have to choose between the two. That would just be the state's concern, Judge.
I don't know what a social worker could do to assist with that. If he's having some housing problems, then certainly we could get him some information regarding housing.
Is
does he have housing problems, Mr. McLean?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not sure how a social worker would really be able to assist with that, Mr. Siraka.
That's fine, Judge.
All right, so as such, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from all Krogers, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Smith. I believe the last is Parks, position number 25. Is that your waiver, Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
And is that our last case, courtroom 2?
Yes, Judge.
Judge,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
very-
Did I ask for the stay away on that Kroger? Apologies.
I ordered that he stay away from all Krogers.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Position 25, Donnie Parks, charged in case 25 CR 004400C with willful obstruction of law enforcement officer, simple assault, and fair evasion. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
29 cycles. Last arrest was March 3rd, 2022 out of Fulton County for criminal damage to property. There are convictions from 2011 for willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and driving while license suspended, 2014 theft by shoplifting and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, 2014 terroristic threats and criminal trespass, 2015 theft by shoplifting, 2016 theft by shoplifting, 2016 theft by taking, and 2017 theft by shoplifting and interference with government property, and nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. Siraka.
Thank you, Judge. This was from August 2nd of this year. The defendant was observed on the Peachtree Street side of 5 Points, fare evading. He was stopped and instructed to leave, was resistant to leaving, and said he wanted to get to the other side and didn't want to pay the fare to get to the Forsyth Street side of the station. He was told he would be arrested and that cuffs would be placed on him. He, at one point during this here, he had moved his elbow twice, according to the officer, in such a way as to say that he would strike her if she got closer. Also, he attempted to flee here, and he was resisting arrest. And I believe that about covers it. I see other incidents here there was a simple assault arrest from 2014, criminal damage to property, as pretrial stated from 2022. I do want to note that was dismissed, but it's not his first bout with willful obstruction. State's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services, but we are asking for a 2-day anger awareness, that he stay away from the 5 Points MARTA station, and that is at 30 Alabama Street, Southwest Atlanta, the incident location. no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
McLean,
No objection, Your Honor.
why isn't he able to be with us this afternoon?
He wasn't feeling well. He wanted to go lie down. Lay down.
And he has a place to reside.
Your Honor, yes, he is in a center. He gets his mail at 275 Washington Street and has housing provided.
Okay. For each charge will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Abide by any active martyr restrictions, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Okay, I believe that completes the 2 o'clock calendar. Ms. Bridgewater, whenever you're ready for us.
All right. Hello, everybody. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is August the 19th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 2 is reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 3 is going to the SAP calendar. If I didn't say it, the SAP reset date is August 19th. Position 3 is going to that calendar with a total $6,000 good bond. 4, SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. Position 5 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 6 is going to the SAP calendar dated August 12th, and it has a $500 good bond. 7, reset further notice with a $3,000 total SOB through pretrial. 8 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 9, reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. 10, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 11 is going to the SAP calendar dated August 19th with a total $1,500 good bond. 12, SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 13 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. 14 is going to the SAP calendar with a $500 good bond. 15, SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond, and we're also adding the other case 25 CR 004407A. 16 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. 17 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 18, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 19, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 20 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,500 good bond. 21, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 22, SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 23 is reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 24, reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. 25 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 26 is going to the SAP calendar with a $600 good bond. 27, SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 28, reset further notice with a total $8,000 SOB through pretrial. 29, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 30, it's going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. 31, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 32 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,500 good bond. 33 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,000 good bond. And 34 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Yes.
I just want to confirm, all the clients that I'm gonna be seeing. And I have, Easter, Neil Easter, number
Do you
6,
have do you have the position numbers?
position number 6.
Easter is the social worker visit. That was the criminal trespass. Yep.
Yes.
Yes. He
I-
had $500 good bond with a social worker visit.
Yes, ma'am. Then we have position number 11, Gil. He had a criminal trespass, simple battery and
He
another.
has a total $1,500 good bond and is $500 on each charge.
And that was also a social worker visit for
It was.
BHET and housing.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I have, position number 14, Carter Jackson.
Yes, that was a criminal trespass and a social worker visit.
I got some more back here. Then I have Sweet, position number 31. Social worker.
Social worker visit with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial, and he also has random screens.
Okay. And is that all? I think that's all that I have.
Okay, are there any others?
I don't have any more documents for me, but if anybody else.
And nothing further. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your week. I'll see you next week.
Awesome, thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.